We've got a good show for you today. Some members of my team have been working overtime like bottled up senses. Oh, can we get Senses Working Overtime by XTC and play that later on? Yes, tune, find that, let's have that, that's a song. Did you get Monty Python tickets yesterday? If you did, phone up and gloat. The first show, about 17,000 people, sold out in 43.5 seconds. They immediately added 4 more nights. The whole thing sold out in 15 minutes. Wowzers. I got some, but I paid well over the odds for them. I paid double for some tickets. Well, they're not very good seats, but. Wow, look at this. My team is looking after me well this morning. Thank you. Look at that. If you did get Monty Python tickets, feel free to phone up and gloat. Lots coming up on the show this morning, including when is a road improvement not a road improvement? Well, when it makes things worse. This story came from you yesterday, so thank you for this. Dunstable's new shared space. Lovely idea. Cars and pedestrians living side by side like ebony and ivory. Trouble is, neither side knows what the other side's doing. It's more like Frankie Goes to Hollywood's Two Tribes. Now, which is the number of sports... one is the score from Two Tribes. There's also the number... But you've written this. This is so complicated, Catherine.
Yeah. That's not complicated.
Well, it is.
Just read it.
It's supposed to be the menu, and I've got
no... the words.
Okay, no, we're doing roads, we're doing sports, and we're doing prisons.
So 1 is the number of sports facilities that Hightown won't be getting. See, it's not hard.
And
the council have their way.
And prisons.
And the prison bit was fun. It was good. You should read that out.
And prison. It can give inmates a number of things. A fresh start, an education, a raging drug habit, or a spouse. Find out which one my guests got by staying tuned until 10 to 8.
Exciting. I'm going to stay tuned.
Me too.
Oh, dearie me. 084... Your microphone's gone quiet again, by the way, Kelly. Oh, it's off now. 08459 455 555 is the phone number.
Across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
Dig out that Senses Working Overtime by XTC. Man, that is a song. That is a song. 08459 455 555. Now, this story came from you yesterday. We had one phone call, followed by another, and then we had phone calls after the show, and emails. Oh, it's got you very angry, and so we did investigate it. Yesterday, 2 words, shared space. 2 more, in Dunstable, and another 2 near Asda. It's starting to make sense now. 2 more words, Justin Dealey. Morning, Justin. You're there, Justin. You're on Fader 3. OK, that's excellent stuff. Thank you very much indeed. Now, remind us what the problem is.
Well, this is Court Drive in Dunstable. As you mentioned, it's by Asda. Now, effectively, what you've got, Ian, you've got a road here with no road markings. You've got roundabouts that don't look like roundabouts. You've got no traffic lights, and you've got no zebra crossings. So what you've got a situation where cars and pedestrians are supposed to be friendly. Now, that simply doesn't work. It's very, very confusing. The best way that I can describe it looks like a new road that hasn't quite been finished. From what I saw yesterday, it was incredibly dangerous, and it didn't surprise me after seeing it yesterday how many calls you received on the programme. It was just staggering.
Well, it was getting people very, very upset, and I suspect... By the way, if you know this stretch of road, do give me a call this morning. We want your stories about this. 08459 455 555. So you went there straight after the show yesterday. You didn't meet our ambassador for Dunstable.
Who's the ambassador for Dunstable?
It was Colin, wasn't it?
Colin is the ambassador for Dunstable.
Colin is the ambassador of Dunstable. When I said, you have to go and meet Colin, the ambassador from Dunstable, well, if I'm honest, Justin, you showed complete disregard for his position.
But the thing is, though, Ian, with this story, every single person has an opinion. On yesterday's show, we were talking about how people didn't know how to cross the road or weren't using traffic lights or underpasses. Well, the facilities on this particular stretch of road simply aren't there. So when I got there yesterday, I spoke to people about just how bad Court Drive has become, and here's what people had to say.
I think it's ridiculously dangerous. This road is absolutely chaos.
Tell us why.
People don't know which side of the road to drive. I've seen a lot of cars just sort of they drive wrong side of the road, and there's no way, like this zebra crossing. It's ridiculous. It's just absolutely... People start crossing you while you're driving, and it's just really dangerous. I think it's ridiculous.
And seriously, you've actually seen people driving the wrong way up the road?
Wrong side of the road. I have seen it.
How scary is that to witness that?
Absolutely, believe me, it's terrible to see, as you are a driver, seeing someone driving wrong side of the road.
And people just can't cross, can they? Because if you look down there's no road markings, there's a bus lane as well. People cannot cross that road in safety.
Not at all. Not at all. It's as I said, all of a sudden they come on the road and you think, oh my God, people jump in and then you suddenly brake and then you see them, it's just crossing the road.
Just lastly, do you think the person who designed that road is an absolute idiot?
I would say definitely. I could do better design than that. I'll tell you now. I don't know whoever's done it. You shouldn't do that. Simple as, I think.
You've got no road markings to specific what side of the road to go on. You've got a bus lane, which is not... It's only marked out on certain areas. You've got no road markings for the motorists either side of the road. And you've got no crossings and nothing for pedestrians.
Everyone seems to be complaining about this road. Do you think there is a serious accident waiting to happen unless something is done here?
I do believe, I think, from what I've heard, because I say I work in the area, that someone has been run over on here before. But I can't be 100% on that, but that's what I've heard.
Something's got to happen and quickly.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, Justin, some people think this is the way forward. Have a listen to this. This is Shared Space campaigner Martin Cassini.
25,000 people every year killed or seriously injured on roads as currently run. To my mind, it's anathema to civilized interaction, whereas shared space, that way we would find peaceful coexistence on our roads instead of being at daggers drawn and competing for gaps in green time. To my mind, the biggest indictment of the current system is it puts the onus on the child to beware the motorist when it could and should be the other way round. I'm sure this scheme in Dunstable is trying to bring that idea in, that here you share the space equally, here you're nice and kind to each other.
It's a nice idea, being nice and kind to each other, but hang on a second. Sorry, Mr. Cassini. Welcome to the real world. Hello, this is Planet Earth calling. That doesn't happen, and it's certainly not going to happen on a road.
Absolutely fascinating to hear that clip there from Mr. Cassini saying, well, it should be peaceful. Well, you've heard there from the people who live in Dunstable. Iain, I don't live in Dunstable. These people are seeing this and experiencing this all of the time. People driving up the road on the wrong side. Also, cars have driven off the road and gone into pedestrians. We know that as well. This system for the people in Dunstable is simply not working. Later, you're also going to hear from a businessman. He's got a young child. His child was nearly run over last week. So, serious things are happening on this particular stretch of road because people don't understand how it works. It's the most confusing layout I think I've ever seen in my life.
Justin, thank you very much indeed. Right, lots of things here that we need to talk about. If you know the stretch of road and you hate it, 08459 455 555. If you know the stretch of road and you like it, give me a call as well. Defend it to me. Mr. Cassini there, being the Kofi Annan of roads, seems to think it's the way forwards. I suggest he needs to get a reality grip. Also, do you know of other improvements, in inverted commas, around the three counties where actually they've made things a little bit worse? Maybe it's your high street, maybe it's your street, maybe it's a road near you where they've spent a fortune doing it up, making it look all posh and new, but actually it's become a death trap. 08459 455 555 is the phone number. I suspect we're going to get lots of calls on this one. Get in early. So someone's calling in now. While the lines are free, now's an excellent time to call. 08459 455 555. Dear listener, that is a song. Getting phone calls about the Dunstable Road already. If you know it, this road near the Asda, it's been redone. It's safer, apparently. It's a shared highway. I want people to call up and say, yes, they love it, and then, yes, they hate it. Let's get both sides. 08459 455 555. And also, if your local area has had improvements that have actually made things worse, could you let us know? 08459 455 555.
Legacy. Part of the Cold War season. Thursday night at 9 on BBC Two and BBC Two HD.
I think I might be busy then, but thanks very much for letting me know. Paul is in Dunstable. Morning, Paul.
Good morning.
Paul,
morning.
You know this stretch of road that we're talking about. What do you think?
Well, it's a really badly designed road. I think if the road markings were there, it would look quite good and it would operate quite well. But there's no road markings. There's no zebra crossings. I personally have had a bit of an argument with a lady who stepped out in front of me because she believed that she had right of way of being a pedestrian to cross the road. But there's no zebra crossing.
Was that on one of those? There are a few raised sections. Was she trying to step out on the raised section?
Yeah, and
right.
she honestly believed that she had the right of way to step out, and it wasn't a zebra crossing or a pelican crossing or any other crossing. And it's dangerous for road users as well, for traffic, because people coming out of Asda's have no idea which way to go, because it doesn't look like a roundabout at Asda's coming out onto that particular stretch of road.
Why do you think they went for this design, Paul?
On the cheap. They've done everything on the cheap. If on that stretch of road they've actually fitted some large flower pots, wooden flower pots, and I've seen at least 2 or 3 times I've seen vehicles who have nearly hit it, and in the last few weeks they've put some reflective strips around these wooden pots, which really clearly isn't good enough.
No.
I think what they've done, they've done this road on the cheap. If you're not from Dunstable and you don't know that stretch of road, there's a strong possibility that there could be an accident. If you don't watch what you're doing.
Paul, thank you very much for your call. 08459 455 555. What do you think? Do you agree with Paul? Or do you think, hey, everyone calm down, as long as you're driving sensibly, then you should be fine with it? 08459 455 555. Who wants to hear one of the best 3 pop songs of all time? Me! That's England for you in a song. Now, we're always hearing how the reason kids get into trouble is that they're bored. So you'd think a proposal to build a multi-purpose sports venue in one of the most deprived areas of Luton would be welcomed with open arms. Hey, guess again. Planning officers for Luton Borough Council have made a recommendation to reject the Dallow Development Trust's plan to convert a former factory unit in Hightown. Why? Well, because it doesn't fit in with their plans for regeneration. The council's sporting trust, Active Luton, runs a centre in the area and is also objecting to the plans. Well, our reporter Richard Williams has been to a facility the Dallow Development Trust is already running.
1, 2, come on. Step back, keep your back foot up, keep it off the ground, come on.
It's Monday night at Dallow Learning Community Centre, and Dallow Boxing Club are holding one of their weekly training sessions for kids in the area.
Haroon Ahmed, Centre Development Manager for Dallow Development Trust. I manage Dallow Learning Community Centre. As you can see, this evening we've got a wide range of young people from very diverse communities training for boxing. We have boxing 3 times a week here. At the same time, we have football facilities. Also, we're looking at cricket as well. What we'd like to do is to have this opportunity to expand on these services, introduce these services in the Hightown area.
Why do you think the recommendation from planning officers at a recent meeting was to reject the planning application?
I really don't know myself, because we're quite baffled ourselves really in terms of that, because we're hearing from the LBC officers that we do not fit into the regeneration projects, which we believe is not true.
Donna Hannon is a local businesswoman from Luton who's involved in the project.
We've started a petition up locally between the residents and local businesses of Hightown to raise awareness for the facility being offered. We are aware that the council are going to refuse the application on the grounds that there is no need for the facility, and we felt it was important that local businesses, students, residents all became involved and realised to the council that actually there is a need for this, a very real need.
Donna, we're standing in this disused warehouse now, a blank canvas. What did this building used to be?
It used to be a welding company that was based in Hightown for many years. Our vision is that it's going to be turned into an indoor cricket netting arena. We also have the facilities to put on indoor hockey, indoor 5-6-a-side football. So there's huge potential for it.
The plan has gained some high-profile support. Former Luton boxer Billy Schwer and Swindon Town chairman Jed McCrory.
When I come back to Hightown on a regular basis, I always look around and see disused buildings. I know in the future there's a few plans they're looking at, because with the train station, the direct links and that. But it'd be nice if Hightown people started to invest in Hightown and maybe come back out. There's been some successful people that have come out of Hightown. So it's not a bad place, it's just about giving people the pathway to go forward again.
People living in the Hightown area of Luton think there's a real need for more community-based projects.
I'm a youth worker and I work in Luton. I know the Hightown area really well. There's not much here for kids to do, but an opportunity like this will give them an opportunity to get off the streets.
Hightown, I personally believe, needs a place like this. Obviously, Bury Park has got its own community centre there. Dallow has got his own community centre there, and with all the problems in and around Hightown, I think this would be the absolute most ideal location for it.
To say that there's no need for this facility in the area just beggars belief. The Hightown Rec was probably one of the biggest sporting facilities here, certainly since I was growing up, so from the 70s, 80s onwards, and since the council closed that facility, they've made no effort to replace it.
We feel that this is political, not planning, a planning issue, as there are people who are listed as objecting when they have not, when we've approached them. So the question is why?
Well, we did ask to speak to someone from Luton Borough Council. They declined to come on the show. They sent us various statements, but, you know, I do get tired of these statements. Come on the show and talk about something. Statements only make you look bad, particularly when the presenter doesn't read them out. Far too long. Anyway.
Across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is Iain Lee.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
I tell you what we'll do this morning. We're normally very cold and cynical on this show, aren't we? We're cold and cynical.
Oh, yeah.
We're very cold-hearted. In fact, very rarely do I bring my heart in. I brought my heart in today.
Did you?
And I thought we could do something nice. This is for parents and grandparents only. We'll do a little show-off, OK? Because Catherine and I have just discovered that both of our children are in their school plays and they have lines.
We've just discovered both our children are geniuses.
Exactly.
They're probably very gifted.
They're the most talented ones in their schools.
It's so hard.
I'm glad they go to separate schools, because I don't think one school could contain both the talent in our children.
It'd be like crossing the streams.
It would be awful. So, my little boy, he's not even 4 yet. He's got a part in the Christmas play. He's only one of 3 children in his class that speak. All the other speaking parts are by the older children. He is a shepherd. And he said something, I not quite know the words, I'm paraphrasing here. He says something along the lines of, "Welcome to our show, we have a big story to tell you." It's the story of Jesus. He's right, it's a big story. Basically,
it's the big story.
It is the big story. It's good news. And he is setting up, without him, that play cannot happen. You won't know what you're watching. Now you know, oh, we're welcome, and it's a big story.
That's the most important part, isn't it?
Definitely. Bigger than... Joseph doesn't even have a line. Joseph was pulled out of a hat. And one of your little girls has got a part?
Yes, she's only 5 and she's the youngest in her year.
Yes!
But she keeps winning prizes for reading. Sorry, did that fall out? And she's going to be a snowflake. I know they didn't have snow in Bethlehem, but she's going to be a snowflake, but not just a snowflake.
No.
She's narrator 4.
Narrator number 4. Do you know what line she has yet? Has she rehearsed it?
You'll find that's the bit where they bring in the donkey.
There you go.
Which is where the action really begins.
But it can't happen without the donkey, can it? So, listen, this morning, put away your cynical side swipes and give us a call. If your child or your grandchildren are in the school plays, 08459 455
We'll have an entire cast by the end, won't we?
Let's put together our own school Christmas play.
So we've got a snowflake and a shepherd.
One of the shepherds. 08459 455 555. Normally I wouldn't pander to such sentimental claptrap, but today... Oh, the Christmas spirit is within me.
And, you know, if you've got gifted children, you know, you've just got to...
It's a burden, isn't it?
It's a burden, but, you know...
Unload your burden on us.
Show off.
08459 455 555. OK, so this morning, lots of work is required from you this morning. I want you to call in if your children or your grandchildren are in the school play. Let us know. Can we assemble a full cast from your children, please? We also need a picture of the road in Dunstable that we're talking about, the one by the Asda. Justin Dealey was supposed to take one yesterday. He did. He's got a real aversion to taking photographs, hasn't he?
Well, of other things.
Yes, he only wants to take photos of himself.
Yeah.
Could you take a photo of it, please, and email it in? ian.lee@bbc.co.uk.
If we get him to go down there and he can take a picture of it over his own shoulder.
That's what we'll do. He what?
He doesn't have a camera or a phone to take a picture.
Oh, he forgot his phone, didn't he? What a muppet. What an absolute muppet. Can he do a quick sketch?
Yeah, maybe.
Get him to do a sketch.
I imagine that he's good at drawing.
OK, get him to do a sketch, or you can send us in a picture. 08459 455 555. You can also give us a call if you want to take part in the newspaper review that we're doing now. Can I start?
Go on.
The Daily Mail is really... First of all, the Express. Lift up the Express.
It's really thin.
It's a thin Express.
Look at that.
The Mail have got all the good stories today, so they'll be in the Express tomorrow. Page 3 of the Mail, 2 cracking stories. First one, sold out in 43 seconds, Monty Python's Flying Tickets. The 17,000-seater venue. It says 20,000 here, but I don't know if it is. Sold out in 43 and a half seconds.
Can that be right? That must be a computer somewhere snapping up all the tickets.
Well, Kelly Betts and I were on the computers yesterday, going crazy, until Paul Scoynes came and reset my computer.
Putting you to the back of the queue.
Yeah, he did, basically, because I'd hacked into his Twitter. But also on page 3 of the Daily Mail, there's a picture of a dog that looks like Hitler. And so the headline is Heel Hitler. And so it's got kind of like the very strong side parting and the Hitler moustache. What's even more terrifying is there's a cat that looks like Hitler doing a Nazi salute.
And they've called it Kittler.
Yes, I would say that... listen, I don't condone violence towards animals, but put that cat into a sack and in the canal as quickly as possible.
No. It's not the cat's fault. Look at this. The Belfast goldfish George, who has a Hitler moustache. Have you got that?
Yes, I got that.
The Express has
I also like the Hitler house. I've seen the Hitler house before. The Hitler house is great. It's a house. It looks like Hitler. It's brilliant. What have you got, Catherine?
I have got that. I also have got this. Let Them Have Cake, the BBC's festive recipe. I was just driving into work. I've got my Christmas CD on already. I don't care.
Oh, I was in Boots yesterday. Christmas music was playing. And it worked. I bought the Muppets Christmas Carol on DVD for $4.99.
$4.99?
Yeah.
Oh. You can get it cheaper than that.
Oh.
Baking guru Mary Berry, Danny Dyer's arrival in Albert Square, Call the Midwife, the return of Sherlock, I like Sherlock, and Strictly and Doctor Who, never mind, will head up the BBC's festive TV schedule.
Beautiful.
So other highlights include David Walliams' new children's show, Gangster Granny. Kids like that, don't they?
Dear me. Okay.
And Mark Gatiss' dramatisation of Ghost... Oh, I like those! The Track Take Mid-Off, which sounds like it's not English. I have no idea what that means, but it's going to be brilliant and dark and sinister.
Will it be old-fashioned ghosts, like Victorian ghosts? Because I don't like Victorian ghosts.
Oh, I like Victorian ghosts the best.
No, I don't like Victorian ghosts.
Candles, lakes, mist.
No.
Brilliant.
I like modern ghosts with masks and daggers. They're not ghosts, psychopaths.
Right.
Page 8 of the Mail. I like Bob Crow. He's the RMT unit. I like him because he doesn't give a flip.
No.
He really doesn't care. OK, so Bob Crow, he earns £145,000 a year in salary and expenses. Oh, chance would be a fine thing. But he lives in a council house.
Hang on.
No, I know. And he says he's not going to move out. Union firebrand Bob Crow, who doesn't give a flip, put those words in, has said he has no moral duty to move out of his council house despite earning £145,000 in salary and expenses. Challenged in a radio interview about his failure to buy his own home, he claimed he was being victimised and denied there was any ethical obligation for him to do so. I have no moral duty at all, he said. I was born in a council house. As far as I'm concerned, I will die in one. That's brilliant, isn't it? He literally doesn't care what you or I think.
There's so much wrong with that.
Isn't there just?
So much wrong with that.
He's defending the common man, and I sometimes agree with what Bob Crow says.
By insisting not to give them a house.
Yeah. Isn't it wonderful? Well done, Bob Crow, you naughty, naughty man.
Man who could be killed by a snowflake.
Yep.
Serious.
Hey.
Bernard Ward is dreading winter.
Yeah.
Because this is in the Times, page 27. Because a bizarre allergy to the cold means that even a single snowflake could kill him.
Ouch.
The retail worker's skin becomes covered in severe hives if he comes into contact with anything cold, from a snowflake to a chilled pint of beer. I would suggest that's probably more of a life problem.
Yeah.
The reactions can be so bad that he can go into anaphylactic shock, which is potentially fatal.
Yeah, I used to go out with a girl called Anaphylactic, and she was just collapsing all over the place. Anyway, do you think maybe this is, sometimes when you want to do a sickie...
No, I never do sickies.
Well, OK.
I've got quite a sore throat now.
Exactly.
I'm battling on.
Exactly. The day before you do a sickie, you go, oh, God, terrible. I'll be fine. I just feel a little bit... and then you set it up for the taking... He's planning a whole Christmas off. Oh, I've got I can't come in. I've got anaphylactics.
I've got anaphylactics.
Anaphylactics is round. We've got Joyce on the line. Morning, Joyce.
Good morning.
Joyce, what would you... what can we do?
I just want to thank you for highlighting that dangerous situation at Dunstable.
You're Joyce from Dunstable, who told us about the dangerous situation in Dunstable, aren't you?
Yes.
Well, we want to thank you, and if we had any way of giving you an award, we would do. We don't.
I don't want an award. I just hope that they make it safe for everybody, because it's very, very dangerous.
Joyce, we've got an ambassador for Dunstable. That's Colin, although he never turns up, does he, for work?
Doesn't really.
Maybe Joyce could be her ladyship of Dunstable.
Would you like to be the ladyship of Dunstable, Joyce? It's a serious offer.
We have the power, Joyce.
Yep.
Well, that'd be lovely, but I'm just interested in getting this road safe for people.
Joyce, don't you worry. We are working on it, and if all else fails, we've sent Justin Dealey down there with a can of paint. He can paint in some lines.
Her ladyship, Joyce in Dunstable.
Joyce, thank you very much indeed. Keep listening throughout the show. Marlene's in Dunstable. Good morning, Marlene.
Morning, Ian.
You're on Dunstable FM. What can we do for you?
Right. When they first opened that road, and when it was advertised in the paper, those raised areas, there was actually a sign by the first one in Court Drive, and it said courtesy crossing.
Oh, that means literally nothing.
No, well, courtesy, that's council jargon, I suppose, isn't it, for whatever.
Well, the courtesy crossing means we'd like you to stop and let people cross, but you don't have to.
Yeah, exactly.
If you're in a bad mood, you don't have to.
Yeah.
And you have to be courteous when crossing, so make sure you do a wave or a nod.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Do you think it's dangerous, Marlene?
Well, I rang up yesterday.
Yes.
It is just an accident waiting to happen down there.
You haven't got any pictures of it? Our reporter, Justin Dealey,
No, unfortunately, I haven't.
We need some pictures of this, Marlene, so we can put it on the Facebook page to show the internet, the world.
Right. I mean, I know the first time I came to it from the White Line Retail Park, it was in the evening, I was going to the theatre, I found myself in the bus, I wasn't aware it was a bus lane, and I thought, what the hell am I doing? What am I doing?
Yeah,
and I found myself in the bus lane.
We've heard people saying that they've ended up in the bus lane. It's not brilliant, is it?
No.
Listen, we're going to be talking to Nigel Young. He's a Conservative councillor for Central Beds about it. What would you like to put to Nigel Young about this?
Well, it is just an accident. I mean, I'm aware now that they are courtesy crossings, so I do stop and let people cross. But people who don't know the area, it's crazy down there.
Marlene, thank you very much indeed. Keep listening. We will be speaking to Nigel Young a bit later on. Catherine, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.
See you later on. 08459 455 555. We'll talk about Dunstable, but I want to spread this out. Where have improvements been made in your area that have actually made things worse? It can be to buildings, it can be to roads, it can be to anything. Grass up your area. Oh, that's not a bad name for a feature, is it? Time to grass up your area. 08459 455 555. I've just had a tweet from Scott talking about flagging up sick days, okay? Like that fellow who's allergic to snow. Scott says, Ian, you are the master of teeing up a sick day. You always signpost your sickies so the discerning listener can prepare. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't tee up my sick days. You're both nodding in there.
What are you talking about? Of course you do.
Expect James wailing on Monday.
No, because I was losing my voice.
What you spoke about? I'm just cutting up a lemon for my tea.
My nurse, anaphylactic, was warning me not to come in that day.
That's her name?
It could be. Anyway, I did come in the end. The thing I was planning got cancelled, so... coming up, Stinky Luton. Before that, Stinky Elizabeth.
Hello.
That was unfair. I didn't know you could... No, what was unfair, Elizabeth?
Me to Luton.
No.
Really?
Well, what was unfair is you weren't supposed to be able to hear me when I said that. I specifically said to the team, keep Elizabeth's fader down so she can't hear what I'm saying when I do this funny introduction. So...
Yeah, thank you.
But I'm standing by my words.
I've got a new perfume on today. What, you don't like that?
Was it Odovoxal plant? You smell wonderful, Elizabeth, as always. What's happening in the world o' weather?
Well, the weather's very fragrant as well today. There you go, nice look. That's the forecast.
We're just getting an email from Saranjeet, who's on the M1. He says that the Junction 9 southbound on the M1 is at a standstill. If you know any more on that, 08459 455 555 is the telephone number. Now, the mysterious waft of cat pee has returned to Vauxhall Way. We all know who smelt it because they've been contacting us. But who actually dealt it? Here's what happened when we covered the story last week.
I've got Claire Richards with me, who's from the Environment Agency. Explain to our listeners what the problem is.
Where they spray paint the vans, not all the paint hits the vans. Some of the
paint falls underneath, and it falls into this like river of paint, and the river of paint is where the smell's coming from. We think it's probably bacteria that builds up in the system and causes it to become almost stagnant. It comes out of the big square chimneys above the paint shop.
One of the residents who's had to live with the stink is Luton's Lib Dem leader, David Franks. David, is it really as bad as we've been told?
Yes. Yes, the residents' complaints are not exaggerated, Ian. It really is absolutely disgusting. And it gets into people's houses in Vauxhall Park area. One of the questions that I keep asking, and nobody seems to want to answer, is what exactly are the chemicals that are being released, and what are the health implications? They keep saying they're working on it, but nobody will actually take that step of dealing with the problem and getting rid of it.
But earlier on, Justin spoke to Pete Layton from Pink Pig Parking.
And in the summer months, we literally had to shut all the windows and doors, etc. Our lady staff just couldn't tolerate it. It became a sickly smell in the end. It's just typical of cat's pee when they've not been cleaned up on if you've got cats, you pee on the paper. It's that smell. It's exactly that smell. It certainly annoyed us during the last 10 months since we've been trading here.
You just want something done about it, and quickly, don't you? Really?
Yeah. I mean, if it's down to the council, the environment, then, pull your finger out and get it sorted.
Well, don't pull your finger out. Maybe that could be the problem. Vauxhall Motors... Oh, it was quite funny then, wasn't it? Vauxhall Motors... well done to my scriptwriters for that. Vauxhall Motors heard our reports, and they were very keen to tell us what they were doing about it. So we sent our funny smells correspondent, Sophie Solaria.
My name's Mike Wright, and I'm the plant director at the Vauxhall Van Factory in Luton.
Neil Revel, I'm the environmental manager at the Vauxhall Luton Van Factory.
Yes, so what we've done for you is put together a slideshow to explain some of the activities that we've been doing in the plant related to the complaints of odour from some of the local residents.
Neil, how many slides do we have here?
We've got 13 slides in total.
Right, OK, let's start then.
We're not emitting waste, or we're not depositing anything into the local community, so anything that we would emit would be...
So I've now seen the 1 hour and 10 minute PowerPoint presentation highlighting what you've done to find the smell here in Vauxhall. So I can safely say for the listeners that you really have been working on trying to find out what this odour is. When people hear about cat wee, it sounds like a humorous topic, doesn't it? You guys aren't laughing about this. This is not a joke for you, is it?
No, it's absolutely not a joke to us. What we're trying to do is determine if the plant is at all, causing a problem. We're doing our utmost to determine if there's anything coming from this facility.
OK. Well, these residents have said they feel like they're being ignored. What would you say to that?
I think they're being far from ignored, and we've got an extensive process in the plant, and I think we've demonstrated today, some of the activities we've shown you, 104-point plan that we've actually implemented, £110,000. My environmental engineer and his team spend approximately a third of their time purely dealing with odour. We also have had consultants and people from our paint and polymer group from Opel and General Motors in from America. We've had them in from Germany and beyond. So we've got all the experts that we can in this facility to try and identify if we are potentially the cause of any of the odours that the residents are actually sensing.
Neil, tell me a bit more about what else you do to try and find the smell.
On a daily basis, we do a 4-mile odour walk around the plant, and we are not finding consistently, or we've never found, a cat wee smell.
4 miles every single day?
Yes.
How do you know that this person can smell properly?
Because we've had this person and a small team of mine calibrated by an external agency to make sure our sense of smell is above average.
You've had your noses checked?
Yes.
How many people at the plant have had their noses checked?
3.
3 people that are 100% ready to smell?
Yes.
Does this walk happen come rain or shine, or is it just purely on the good days?
No, it comes rain or shine. I have been drowned as a rat doing this odour walk.
Is it something that perhaps we can join you on and maybe take some of the residents?
Yeah, you're quite welcome to, absolutely. Pick a nice wet day and you'd see what our guys have got to go through every day.
Fair play. That is Sophie's best report ever. She had to sit through an hour and 10-minute PowerPoint presentation. That is incredible. And then we find out that someone's had their nose calibrated. Oh, Sophie, well done. Well, we may be getting to the root of the problem. When I say we, of course, I mean Sophie and Lib Dem councillor David Franks. David Franks lives in the area, and he's been pushing for action on the stench. Our reporter, Tony Fisher, broke the news to him.
I'd like to do it very much indeed. In fact, last week, I had an email from the Environment Agency saying that Vauxhall were indeed going to fix up a date, and we were going to be invited with the local residents who are complaining to go and have a look at the problem. I'm just waiting for a date.
So you're looking forward to that?
Absolutely, yes. Niall Revel at Vauxhall is the man, and he's apparently offered to show us what the problem is and what they're doing about it.
And are you convinced that they are doing enough to try and sort this problem out?
Well, you're never doing enough, Tony, so long as the problem is still there. In the end, I don't know whether you've actually experienced the smell, but I have, outside various houses around Lalliford Road and Devon Road, and it is pretty awful. But we certainly would welcome the opportunity to find out what Vauxhall are doing about it. And it's good that they're talking, because, initially, when this all started off a few years ago, they were denying all knowledge. Now, at least, they're accepting that it is a problem and that they need to do something about it, which is progress.
So we will go with David Franks and hopefully a few residents to walk around Vauxhall and see if the cat pee smell can be detected. If you are a local resident who's been upset by the smell and you have a fully calibrated nose, do get in touch and you might be part of the party that goes round. 08459 455 555. And thanks again to Sophie Solera for that excellent report. Right, this is BBC Three Counties Radio. Coming up, talking more about Dunstable and other places as well in the Three Counties where they've made improvements in inverted commas, but actually it's made things worse. Important day for me. Getting my first ever filling. 40 years old, never had a filling. Bring it on. Bring on your dentistry. I'm not scared. I'm a little bit scared. What are you saying, Kelly?
It'll really, really, really hurt.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, nuts.
Maybe get anaesthetic to ease the pain.
I'm getting a white filling, so you won't know I've got a filling.
Oh,
that's
crafty.
how posh I am. Yeah,
they don't really hurt. It's fine.
It's just like putting blue tack in your mouth.
Can I watch?
Sure, come and vine it.
Can I?
You can vine it, yeah, of course, definitely. I'm not scared. I ain't afraid of no dentist. I'm a little bit afraid.
Might have a bit of scraping going on.
Oh, I don't like... I'm seeing the hygienist, so I will have a bloody mouth. I'm not swearing. I'm being literal there. Anyway, lots coming up on the show this morning, including Dunstable's new shared space. It's a nice idea, isn't it? Oh, it's a lovely idea. Cars and people living side by side in harmony, just like the ebony and indeed the ivory. Turns out we can't find one person who thinks it's a good idea. If you've seen the stretch of road, if you're near that stretch of road, can we get a picture? It's in Dunstable, it's by the Asda. You'll know it if you live there. Do take a picture and put it on the Facebook page, facebook.com/BBC3CR. We'll be talking about prison. Prison can give inmates a number of things: a fresh start, an education, a raging drug habit, or a spouse. Find out which one my guests got by staying tuned. And also, cynicism to one side this morning. My little boy is one of 3 children in his class at school who has a speaking part in the school play. Catherine's, is it your youngest? It's your eldest, hasn't it? Has got a speaking part, narrator number 4, no less. Can we assemble a whole Christmas nativity? And a snowflake. All right, calm down. A snowflake. Can we assemble a whole Christmas nativity out of your children and your grandchildren? What parts have they got? Let's spread it a bit wider. What parts didn't they get that they deserve as well? Let's do that. If your kid has got the part of, like, sometimes they have things like elephants and things, like just weird things, palm trees. If you want your kid to be Joseph, phone up. It can be Joseph. She can be Joseph. It's 2013. Facebook.com/BBC3CR. Send me a text, 81333. Start your text 3CR. Or you can give me a call, 08459 455 555.
Across beds, hearts and bucks.
Oh, this is BBC Three Counties Radio.
Very quickly, before we move on to Dunstable, just talking before the news about the cat wee smell in Luton. The Vauxhall plant is where it allegedly comes from. And we spoke about this last year. It keeps coming and going. People are very upset. We have been invited to wander around with the official Vauxhall sniffers who have calibrated noses, we've just heard. Well, John has texted in. He's slightly suspicious. Sorry, what a load of tosh. Calibrated noses? We all have a friend who, if we visit their home, we notice a pong. They do not. They're used to it. We do have a friend. Mine's called Steve. The 3 Vauxhall noses will be calibrated not to notice the pong. Total disregard to those who live near the plant. The question is, are there any long-term hazards from the gas producing the smell? 3CR, do your job. Do not let them off the hook. John, we won't be letting them off the hook. Don't. Hey, listen. We're playing the long game here. We are playing the long game. We will send a team of expert sniffers to the Vauxhall plant. And if there's a smell, boy, oh boy, we're going to find it. Boy, oh boy, we're going to find it. Now, they're meant to improve road safety, but people living in Dunstable, where a shared space has been built, says it's making the streets more dangerous. Basically, the road layout has been changed and markings removed around Asda, so motorists and pedestrians are getting very, very confused. We're getting more phone calls about this, Justin. You're on Court Drive now, and you were angry when you saw it, weren't you?
I was, because, you know, Iain, to be fair, it's probably the most confusing layout I think I've ever seen here. It's a very, very busy stretch of road. You got the Asda here, you got the Gary Cooper pub, you got the bowling alley, you got the theatre as well. Now, this particular road has roundabouts that don't look like roundabouts. You have no road markings. We've heard stories of people driving up the wrong way. And the big thing for me, there's no traffic lights or no zebra crossing. So people are trying to cross the road, and it's very, very dangerous. Now, I mentioned to you earlier as well that I spoke to somebody called Mick Graham, who runs Casmic's Cafe.
Yes.
His son was almost run over. I spoke to him yesterday, and here's what he had to say.
He was crossing the road with my wife, and a car had stopped on one side of the road, so we crossed over, but then a car overtook that car to go in the other lane. And if we weren't there, he would have been run over because Karen pulled him back.
And how old's your boy?
He's 10.
And did you phone the council or the local police?
Karen phoned the police and the council, but we never had anything back.
Well, everyone's complaining, saying that people cannot cross the roads here, and somebody is going to be killed very soon unless something is done.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, something needs to be done. It's all they need to do is put some black and white lines on it, then people know it's a crossing.
And you're a local businessman. Are you losing trade because of this?
Well, we've had people come in here saying now the older ladies don't like crossing the road, so they just don't come. You know, they instead of coming down here once, twice a week, they might come down here when they get a lift down and get dropped off at the back, so they haven't got to cross the road.
Yeah, it's really bad. They need to sort it out. Someone's going to get hit, seriously.
Well, here's somebody who's a taxi driver. Do you think this road is dangerous?
It's very dangerous. I'm a lot of time looking, in the middle, don't have any lines, and a lot of accident. I saw it last 3-4 weeks.
So you've seen accidents here?
Yeah, I see accident lot of time, and lot of accident, and lot of time see, people make horns, or he thinking I'm right. Anybody don't know who's right.
We had a caller earlier on, Justin, who said that there initially, on one of those raised bumps, there was a sign that said it was a courtesy crossing, which is a meaningless phrase.
I mean, I can tell you what the sign says now. To my left-hand side, it says, shared space, drive carefully, consider other users, 20 miles per hour, controlled parking zone, no waiting at any time. So effectively, what this road is, it is a road where people have to live in harmony, the pedestrians and the motorists together.
Hey, man.
We were talking yesterday saying that people don't know how to cross the road. Well, here, people cannot cross the road because there are no traffic lights, there are no zebra crossings. I think personally, I'm no road expert, Iain, but if you put a zebra crossing in here, that would solve everything. At the moment, that doesn't exist.
Justin, I know you haven't got a phone there with a camera, but your mission this morning is we really, really need a photograph. Could you grab someone with a phone camera and get them to take a picture of you? You can be in it if you want, and the road, and get them to email it to us so we can put it on the Facebook page.
I'm definitely going to get you a photograph. What I would say, though, I think you really need to be here to experience this, because it's one of the most bizarre things I've ever seen. It's almost like a new road which hasn't quite been finished, yet they've opened it to the public. That's the only way that I can describe this road.
OK, Justin, thank you very much indeed. If you see Justin, do go and offer to take a photo. Joined now by Mike Bloy, who runs the fish and chip shop. Morning, Mike.
Good morning.
What do you make of this road, this shared space?
Oh, this shared space is very, very dangerous, as your people have been saying there. One of the girls who works for me was actually clipped by one of the buses some months ago.
She was clipped by one of the buses?
She was clipped by one of the buses. She was looking one way to see the cars, and she got caught by one of the buses. She wasn't hurt, but a very, very close escape she had there.
What do you think the council should be doing to rectify this?
Well, the local council, I wish they would come out and speak more about this. This is actually governed by the county council, and the gentleman in charge, I believe, is Mr. Nigel Young.
Yep.
He has stated that he does not want pedestrian crossings or zebra crossings on there because, in his opinion, they are dangerous.
Well, Nigel Young is coming on the show in about an hour's time. What would you like to say to Nigel Young?
To admit that he's actually made a mistake, to start putting markings on the road. I mean, you've just had a gentleman there reading out what's on that sign, which is all very well and good. He's standing there watching it, but if you try and drive past it, by the time you got down to the second line, you've passed the sign. You can't read it. The signs are just too big, with too many words on it. You just can't read what's going on before you actually passed it.
Mike, stay there, because you're obviously against it. I'm joined now by Ali Hadawi, CBE, who is the principal of Central Bedfordshire College. Ali, you disagree. You think that the roads, the shared space, is a good idea.
Lee, good morning to you and to your listeners. My office overlooks the co-drive, and we have more than 5,000 students, both young and old, who use this space, including myself, of course. I'm a user as well. And my observation of it is that drivers are much more careful. They drive slower, and students really welcome it and enjoy it.
Well, so what have students said to you about it?
I haven't, the way it works is I haven't had a single complaint from any student.
So you've not had a complaint?
Are very vociferous about the complaints.
So you haven't had a complaint?
But I observed them using it.
Hang on a second. Ali, you haven't had a complaint. What good things have they said?
What they find is that it feels refreshingly clean and open. It's also sort of... it's part of a jigsaw in terms of bringing Dunstable up. So, it still needs more work.
Let me put this to Mike. Mike, it's refreshingly clean and simple, and it brings Dunstable up. What's your reaction?
I don't think he's actually in contact with his students. I get his students in my shops, and they do not come up with those comments. Also, would you like to ask the gentleman, how many of his students have actually been hit or involved in accidents while this road was being built, and now, in the last year?
Not a single one.
Not a single one. That's
I know
what I've heard, because one of the girl that I said was clipped by the bus actually is one of your college students, and she works for me.
I mean, if she... I haven't been told, so that's why I don't know.
See, that's because you're not in touch with your students.
No, with respect. I mean, I do spend time with students.
Ali, do you not think, though, that a shared space... Yes, it's a nice idea that we can all live in peace and harmony and everything, but cars rule the road unless they're told otherwise. That's the very nature of most drivers.
I mean, I drive around that space as well, and I find myself being much more careful because it's a shared space. And I observe that with other drivers.
But if I were to drive along there, having never been there before, would I know it's a shared space?
Oh, yes. I mean, it's not any different from any... lots of town centres up and down the country are like that.
Then anyway. I wouldn't know it was a shared space then, would I? I would just think it's a road and I have right of way.
I don't think so. You will know that because the road markings don't give you that sense. So you tend to slow down because you're sharing that space.
Ali, I appreciate your time this morning. That's Ali Hadawi, CBE, Principal of Central Bedfordshire College. A voice in the wilderness. Is it a lone voice? He thinks that the shared space is a great idea. 08459 455 555. The other voice you heard was Mike Bloy, who runs the fish and chip shop. He disagrees. So, focusing on Dunstable, this stretch of road, we really need a picture. If you can take a picture, email me, ian.lee@bbc.co.uk. Shared space, is it a good idea or a bad idea in Dunstable? And then can we expand this, please, to places where you live, where improvements, in inverted commas, have been made, but actually, you think it's made things worse. Maybe it's a new building has been built, a new road signs. Now, every time we hear stories about kids hanging around, going off the rails, generally making the place look untidy, we always hear the same answer, and it's the same answer we've heard for years and years and years, and, they got nothing to do. Oh, yeah, they got nothing to do. Give them something to do. So you'd think, wouldn't you, that Luton Borough Council would jump at the chance of a new leisure facility that they wouldn't have to pay for. Well, no. They're minded to reject it because it doesn't fit in their plans for the area. 08459 455 555 is the telephone number if you want to give us a call. It really is quite an incredible story about this. So the kids got nothing to do. I know what. Let's put up a new leisure facility. The council, you haven't got to pay for it. Council, no, we're not interested. Well, Camilla Batman-Gale is the chief executive of Kids Company. Good morning, Camille. Is it Camille or Camilla?
Good morning. It's Camilla.
Camilla, thank you, Camilla. Tell us more about your work.
Well, we work with 36,000 vulnerable children, young people, and adults. And we do everything a parent would do, from buying them the underwear, the toothbrush, finding them somewhere to live, and then getting them into education and employment.
Why do you think sport makes such a difference?
The reason sports makes a lot of difference in the teenage years is because the teenage brain is changing. And actually sports is one of the means by which teenagers can release tension, and it can lead to good health outcomes, but also good behaviour.
And in the 40s and the 50s, of course, it was boxing. Boxing was the thing. What kind of things are young people doing now?
Well, a lot of young people don't have facilities to go to, and they don't have the money to pay for private gyms and so on. So actually, if there is a facility, what we find is that young people really use it, and it's one of the best ways to make sure that young people don't end up developing addictions to drugs and alcohol, because when they become interested in fitness, it's one of the best protections against addiction.
Also, we're supposed to have had, after the Olympics, which some people may have forgotten about, a sporting legacy. That doesn't necessarily seem to be happening, does it?
Well, the trend is to promise so much for children and young people, but actually not really deliver it. And there are a lot of programs that take advantage of young people and sort of get money on the back of promising things for young people, and then actually don't honour those promises. So I'm not surprised that the Olympics didn't have a genuine legacy for young people.
And how does it work, Camilla? Do you approach councils and ask them, for permission to set up places? Do they ever refuse that?
In our case, we are an independent charity, so we've actually set up stuff. But I have experienced neighbourhoods, especially led by councillors, being very against young people and teenagers, sort of not wanting teenagers to be in their neighbourhood or gather. And it's almost as if we've become a nation of teenage haters, and we don't want to understand that teenagers are members of our society, and they are lovely.
Teenagers do get a bad time, which is quite often undeserved, isn't it?
It's really undeserved, because teenagers actually are, in a way, social conscience. They question you, they innovate stuff, they teach us all new things, they progress society to another level. I think people are very unfair to them. Emotionally, they can fluctuate because of the way their brain is changing and developing. And I think people should just be a bit more sympathetic and a bit more reasonable. They're members of our human race.
Camilla, I appreciate your time this morning. That's Camilla Batman-Gale, Chief Executive of Kids Company. Not connected with this story, but I thought it was an interesting insight. We did ask to speak to someone from Luton Borough Council. They declined to come on the show. Active Luton sent us a very big, long statement, which didn't answer the question. So my team said, this doesn't answer the question. And Active Luton spokesperson said, see the email we just sent you. So they don't really want to answer the question. 08459 455 555. I've been sent... oh, look! Oh, my goodness, look, I've been sent a picture of Dunstable. Can I forward it on to you, team? And we'll put it on the Facebook page. This is from John. John, thank you very much. No, that's not it. That's America. That's a picture of America you've sent us, isn't it? Is that it? No. I'm going to send you a picture that I think is... Well, I'm told it's Dunstable. I can't believe that's Dunstable. That looks like America. John, is that real? Hang on a second. Let me send it to the expert team of Kelly Betts and indeed Catherine Boyle, and let's see what they have to say. Picture has been emailed your way, Kelly Betts. What do you think? Have a little look.
Let's have a look. No, that's it.
Is that it?
Yeah.
It looks like America. I tell you what makes it...
America?
I've seen it on TV.
Have you been to Dunstable?
I've seen it on TV.
That's Dunstable.
Well, look at that sign on the left-hand side. It looks like one of those church signs, or one of those signs saying, Bumsville, population 726.
Oh, yeah, I know what you mean.
Looks like one of those, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But that's Dunstable.
Yeah.
Wow, look at that. Isn't that fantastic? I've not seen it from that. It looks very glamorous there. It also looks, let's be honest...
If you were driving on that, would you know what to do?
I wouldn't have a clue. No, I wouldn't have a clue. And I certainly wouldn't see that. You can see the raised crossing there. I certainly wouldn't stop to allow people to cross necessarily, because that to me says I have right of way. We have a picture, Catherine, but let's get it up on the Facebook page. Thank you, John. Excellent stuff indeed. Sorry for doubting the validity of that. Let's put that up on facebook.com/BBC3CR, and you can let us know your thoughts on that. Some text as well. Iain, road improvement that has gone wrong. Traffic lights on the Tring Road in Aylesbury. Since these lights have been installed, rush hour in Aylesbury is a nightmare. Regards, Mick. Let's compile a list, shall we, of all the improvements in Beds, Herts and Bucks that have actually been deprovements? Well, they've made things worse. They're unimprovements. What is the word? What's the opposite of improvements? It must be improvements. Improvements? What's the opposite of improvements?
What? It would be... tell you what it would be.
What?
Car confusion. Call me now. I'll wait for
for goodness sakes, no. What's the... you can call me now, but yeah, let's compile a list of all the improvements, in inverted commas, in Beds, Herts and Bucks that have actually made things worse. It can be roads, it can be buildings, it can be schools, all kinds of things. We'll look at all kinds of things. Thank you for that, Mick. Shell in Houghton Regis says, add in the overtaking, tailgating and aggressive driving of all those that still do not realise that all back roads in Dunstable are 20 miles per hour and the town is a ticking time bomb. That's Cheryl. 08459 455 555. Also this morning, doing lots of whinging this morning, which I like. I like a good whinge in the morning, but. Can we also celebrate... I'm really getting into the Christmas spirit. I bought the Muppet Christmas movie yesterday. I was in Boots. They had Christmas music playing. I felt the spirit of Christ compelled me. Can we celebrate if your child or your grandchild has got a part in the school play? 08459 455 555. Who are they? What are they doing? And also, if they didn't get a part, or they got, the part of a tree, what part should they have had? 08459 455 555. You were probably didn't have a school nativity, Dennis. You were probably born before Christ.
Well, that wasn't long after, actually.
No, okay, all right.
Yes.
He was in the year above you, right?
Yeah.
What have you called in about, Dennis?
Disimprovement of Dunstable.
Yes. That's what we're calling it, the disimprovement of Dunstable.
Yeah. We've had some beautiful ones here.
Go on.
Right in the centre of the town, there used to be roundabouts.
Yeah.
And then for some reason, they took them away and they put pedestrian lights on all four roads. And unfortunately, sometimes they were all at green.
Oh. Huh?
And so we had some lovely crashes because each road thought they got the right of way.
Oh, I see. I see. So the lights would be green, allowing the cars to go through.
Yeah, they were pedestrian lights.
Fantastic. I tell you what I like. This is my favourite thing, and my wife thinks I'm weird for this, but I like it when I get to a very busy junction and that all of the traffic lights are broken. It's anarchy, and it works better. It seems to work better than traffic lights.
Well, probably that's the reason for this business of shared space. You think, God almighty, what's coming? Is this my road? Is it a one-way street? So you're sort of driving with one foot on the brake. I think that might be the improvement.
Have you seen this shared space?
No, I haven't, because they did a daft thing there years ago. And as you go past the school at the bottom and turn back to right angles, there used to be a road up the side of the school which was buses only for a long time.
Yes.
You had to pass it, but then for some reason or other, they knocked that on the head, and the road improved 9 out of 10. It really was much better. It brought you back into Dunstable by the trading estate.
Dennis, by the way, I don't know if you heard yesterday, we appointed Colin of Dunstable, the ambassador for Dunstable.
Best of luck to him.
Yeah, I just have to say, have you had your papers stamped by Colin?
No.
You're going to have to get that done by Friday. Otherwise, I'm afraid we're going to have to ask you to leave Dunstable.
Oh, God.
So, so what we're going to need you to do, Dennis, by Friday, if you could gather all your papers together...
Yes.
And go to the embassy, Colin's house, and get the papers stamped. Is that okay?
Where's his embassy? Is there a sign?
Yes.
Oh, well, I don't. You'll have to let me know where it is.
Okay.
Because my passport's just run out.
Okay, we're going to need to get that sorted out, Dennis, otherwise I'm afraid you will have to be evicted
unfortunately,
from
last
Dunstable.
time I went to have a photograph taken, it broke the camera.
Thank you very much indeed, Dennis. This is true. We have an ambassador for Dunstable. It's Colin. Throughout the next few weeks, leading up to Christmas, we will be giving away ambassadorships of various towns and villages. Also, king and queenships of the 3 counties. Want to be a king or queen of Beds, Herts or Bucks? Well, prove your worth. 08459 455 555.
Call 08459 455 555.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Wise words there from that man with the dull voice. You can only control the controllables. Very well. Who was that man? Was that Buddha? Did we get a line to Buddha? Wowzers, that's incredible. You can only control the controllables. Morning, this is Iain Lee, BBC Three Counties Radio. Lots of you getting in touch about this stretch of road in Dunstable. There's a picture. Is the picture up on Facebook? That we're putting it up on Facebook. It'll be up there in the next few minutes. If you've seen it, do give us a call. We've had one voice supporting it so far. Does anybody else think it's a cracking idea? I mean, it looks great. Fair play, it looks stunning. If I was driving down there, I would know it's a shared space. And what does a shared space actually mean? And if we can expand that as well, I want to know where disimprovements have been made in your area, whether the council or a private person or a company has knocked a building down or done something to the road or got rid of a roundabout. And they've made improvements, but actually it's disimproved the area. It's made it worse. 08459 455 555. We've already got the traffic lights on the Tring Road in Aylesbury. Where else? The picture is on Facebook now. Thank you, Kelly. Facebook.com/BBC3CR. Go and have a look. Sent in by John. Would you know what to do on that stretch of road? It looks wonderful. It looks very scenic, but a bit confusing, isn't it? 08459 455 555. And today as well, we don't always do nice things. I'm getting in the Christmas spirit. I think, is it Sunday? Is Sunday the 1st of December? That's when we're going to start watching Christmas movies. That's when the Phil Spector Christmas album comes out. Wonderful. What a great record that is. I know his recent history isn't very festive, but still. My little boy, he's not even 4 yet. He's one of 3 children in his class to get a speaking part in the Christmas play. You see? Catherine's eldest is a snowflake. She's a is that right? Snowflake?
She's not just any snowflake.
Well, go on.
She's not just she's also narrator 4.
Narrator number 4.
So would say 1 is the coveted spot? No, 4 is when it all turns.
Yeah, exactly. That's pivotal. That's the key moment, I think, isn't it? Really. We want to celebrate your child or your grandchild. What are they doing in the school play? 08459 455 555. I don't normally let people phone in and show off. Today, phone in. Show off. Be wonderful. 08459 455 555 is the telephone number. Now, ladies and gentlemen, doff your caps, curtsy or indeed bow, because we have... His Lordship, the Ambassador for Dunstable. It's Colin.
Morning.
Good morning, Your Lordship.
That's a bit over the top.
Oh, I see you're one of those humble ambassadors who likes to keep it real.
Yeah.
Okay, Your Lordship. Thank you, sir. You are the Ambassador for Dunstable. And just to flag up, between now and Christmas, or between now and us getting bored of this idea, we will be giving out ambassadorships for towns and villages across the 3 counties. You can start petitioning now. 08459 455 555. And we will be giving king and queenships away. There'll be a king and queen of beds, a king or queen of hearts, and indeed a king or queen of bucks.
Oh, that's a bit tacky.
Whoa, look at you. That first ambassador is a socialist. Flippin' heck, we've got one of the Reds has snuck in.
Yeah, not quite.
Colin, what can I do for you this morning, Your Lordship?
Well, I was expecting a call yesterday afternoon so that I could be down Court Drive with Justin this morning.
Now, yes, listen, yes, your ambassadorship. I know what happened. I promised you live on air that Justin Dealey would be coming to the embassy to discuss the situation in Dunstable yesterday. Did he not turn up, sir?
No.
How long were you waiting in for him?
I was in all day except for about an hour between 10 and 11.
That might explain it. Did he not make a phone call or anything?
No.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how angry are you?
Oh, not very.
Oh.
But,
it's disappointing, isn't it, that he didn't turn up? And I tell you what happened yesterday, Your Lordship, was we were really pouncing on this story. We were very, very excited. And I said... all of us were. And I said, Dealey, you need to go to the Dunstable Embassy to speak to the ambassador he's going to take you down to have a look at this shared road space. You what? What ambassador? I said that Colin, the ambassador of Dunstable, you need to go to his embassy. You need to... I don't know about that. Come on, geez, what's going on? He wasn't very keen. He doesn't respond well to authority, Colin.
I find him a very pleasant person.
Well, I mean, I find him tolerable at best.
That's not very nice.
No, it's not.
Colleague. You're supposed to get on with your colleague.
We're supposed to. Don't always work like that, Colin. Boy, oh boy, it doesn't always work like that.
No. Anyway, one of the things about this shared space crossing...
Yes.
...is that it is right on a bend.
Yeah.
And a junction as well.
Yeah.
Which doesn't help.
No.
And the one further down the road in Court Drive is although it's on the straight, nobody wants to give way.
Well,
have we found out what the law is?
Well, no, there is no law, I don't think.
Well,
it's like the Wild West.
So it's not a crossing.
Well, it's a shared space, so you have to be courteous.
Well, yeah, but if you want to, I don't know, cross the road for a bus, and nobody gives way, you're going to miss that bus, aren't you?
Yeah, and you're also going to miss any potential chances you've got of getting a knighthood, Justin Dealey. I've got Ambassador Colin on the line, and he's very upset. He waited in all day for you yesterday, Just.
Oh, really?
Well, I didn't exactly wait in, but I was in all day.
You see, the thing is, Colin, with this particular story, I knew that every single person here in Dunstable would have an opinion, and when I came here yesterday, I'm here again this morning, and people are literally coming over to the radio car. Somebody's turned up a minute ago saying they've got a petition going about this. Everyone here in the town has an opinion, and a big opinion as well.
Well, I've actually been in contact with my local councillor about it as well. I can't remember his name, to be honest, but he's looking at it as well.
Well, somebody's got to do something, Colin, because, from what I've seen, from what I'm hearing, a serious accident here is just waiting to happen.
Yes. Couldn't agree more.
Yeah, Ambassador,
we can get something done.
Ambassador, do you forgive... Sorry, I'm eating a really dry biscuit, so I do apologise.
Oh, that's very unprofessional.
Well, that's me. It's Iain. Colin, do you forgive Justin for his rudeness?
Well, no, it's just lack of communication, isn't it?
Isn't it just?
I don't know what I'm supposed to have done.
You're supposed to have gone to the embassy and spoken to the ambassador.
Listen, I've come straight to Dunstable yesterday. I'm here again this morning, getting people's views, and everyone's got an opinion. So I'm sorry if I didn't go and see Colin yesterday, but I wasn't, fully aware that was going to be the case.
Now, Colin, would you, if you want, you are allowed to challenge, as ambassador, you're allowed to challenge Justin to a duel.
No, I wouldn't do that.
You sure?
He's bigger than me.
You pinko.
Yeah,
you got off very, very lightly there, Justin. Very lightly. Colin, your ambassador, thank you very much indeed. It's lovely to talk to you, and we'll hope to speak to you again soon.
OK, bye.
Bit of respect, Just.
Yes.
We're going to get more ambassadors as the months go on, so get used to this. So where exactly are you, Justin? What's been happening?
I'm in Court Drive in Dunstable, talking about this shared space here, which is totally confusing everybody. As I mentioned to you earlier on, no road markings, roundabouts which don't look like roundabouts, and the big thing for me, people cannot cross this road. There's no traffic lights, no zebra crossings. We've even heard from a local businessman who says that a number of people now are not coming to his cafe because the older ladies in particular, they are scared to cross the road. That's how bad the situation is. A moment ago as well, Ian, I spoke to a 13-year-old child. Now, unfortunately, I couldn't speak to his parents on the phone to get their permission for him to talk to us, but he said only last week that he was very nearly run over by a bus. In his words, a 13-year-old child, nobody knows what they are doing. It's all very well saying that you can have pedestrians and motorists living in harmony, but in reality, that is simply not going to work.
Justin, thank you very much. You're doing a cracking job this morning. We're getting lots of feedback about this. 08459 455 555. Paul Scoynes, political reporter here at BBC Three Counties, has been in touch to metaphorically slap my wrist. Ian, you should know it's inappropriate to refer to the ambassador of Dunstable calling as your lordship. That is reserved for lords and ladies. His excellency is acceptable. Thank you very much indeed, Paul. Listen, early days for us. It turns out Colin's a massive pinko anyway. There's a red under the bed and it's Colin. I don't know how we got a socialist Marxist ambassador snuck in through we need tighter controls for the next one. Need tighter controls. If you want to be an ambassador for your town or village, 08459 455 555. If you think you're up to being a king or a queen of a county, well, you can also give us a call. Let's just say that the standard for that will be a little bit higher. Some texts on this road in Dunstable. Isn't it funny how sometimes these things work? You see, this came from one call yesterday. And suddenly it's a huge story that everybody is getting in touch with. Von says, the road near Asda is an accident waiting to happen. It's confusing for both pedestrians and car driver. And the roundabout getting into Asda is a joke. It's so tight, I've seen cars having to reverse up in order to make it round. I hate those annoying... Why do they make tight roundabouts? Ian, the new 20-mile-per-hour limits in Dunstable are ridiculous. More cars are now travelling slowly in queues while cyclists undertake us. What is going on, Pat? Do stay tuned. Residents and users of Dunstable will be speaking to Councillor Nigel Young after 8 o'clock, who, he thinks the shared road space is a cracking idea. If you want to call up and put your points to him, you can do 08459 455 555, and let's spread this out to your area. Where have disprovements been made? They've changed the road layout, they've changed road markings, they've knocked a building down to build something better. But really, it's just made things worse. It's hideous, or it's dangerous. Disprovements throughout Beds, Herts and Bucks. 08459 455 555. You can also go to facebook.com/BBC3CR. Right, this is Iain Lee, BBC Three Counties Radio. We've been talking about Dunstable and the new road system, the shared road system. Sounds like a nice idea, but practically, have a look, facebook.com/BBC3CR. Ray's in Dunstable. Morning, Ray.
Good morning, Ian.
Now, Ray, you're if I remember correctly, you're the blind gentleman.
I am indeed, sir.
Are you the fellow with the guide dog that follows your instructions?
Yes, sir.
You say,
yes.
Right, I want to go to the fiction section in the library, starting with R, and it will take you...
No.
It takes you pretty much there, doesn't it? Doesn't it?
It will take me to the library, yes, and it takes me... but it won't take me to the R section, no. I think that's a bit much for a poor dog.
Well, in that case, I suggest you trade it in and get a new model. The R's are the best thing in the libraries.
No, the dog is the best thing in the library.
You're absolutely... My little boy, very quickly, has just started going to nursery. He was very excited. He came home yesterday and he said, Daddy, guess what they're going to bring into school next week? I said, what? He said, they're bringing in a guide dog.
Yeah.
Which is wonderful. He's going to get to meet a guide dog and he's going to be allowed to stroke it and he's going to learn what the guide dog does. And I said, well, do you know what a guide dog does? He says, yes, it helps people who can't see and it helps them cross the road.
Yep.
Which is what... And so I'm really excited he's going to get to meet one. But... You're concerned about this road in Dunstable, aren't you?
I am indeed, sir. It's not the Court Drive now. The dog will take me up to the crossings there, no problem.
Yep.
And I find the cars will stop for me there more so than on the Pelican Crossing on Luton Road.
Okay.
Now, Luton Road, where you come around, if you're coming from Dunster and you go around the Giotri system, there's 2 sets of traffic lights. They're grand. And then you come around the corner and there's a massive big bend as you're coming into Luton. Now, if I stand there with the dog, sometimes the inside lane will stop and the outside lane come flying around. And they think, oh, he stopped, that's all right, I can carry on.
Yeah.
And it is really dangerous. I've been onto the council about it, the highways, and I've heard nothing from either of them about it. And you've got to be blind to understand how dangerous it is.
I tell you what, Ray, coming up just after 8 o'clock, we've got Nigel Young. He's a councillor for that area, and he's in favour of the shared roadway. What would you like to put to Nigel Young?
Well, if he could come down and see, I thought it was an offence for a car not to stop at a Pelican crossing. Now, if he wants me to go down with him and walk to the along Court Drive, I will do that. Or if he wants me to go to the Pelican crossing, I will meet him there and see the trap that we're in there, really.
Okay, but in terms of Court Drive, as a blind person, you think it's particularly dangerous?
Yes, but my dog is ever so good there. He really is brilliant for those. But you see, not all blind people have a guide dog.
Right, listen, keep listening. We'll speak to Nigel later on, and I will put your point to him. So thank you very much for that. Now, moving on, as part of BBC Three Counties Big Tour, we visit a different town every week in Beds, Herts and Bucks, covering the stories that matter to you. This week, we're in Leighton Buzzard, where we met Paul. Paul joins me in the studio now. Paul, you have an interesting story, don't you? Let's start. You were in prison.
Yes, I was.
Am I allowed to ask what you did?
Yes, I'm quite open about it. I was actually convicted of an armed robbery offence.
Wow, OK, so a very serious offence. How long were you sentenced for?
I was in the end sentenced to 4.5 years.
OK. And while you were in prison, you struck up a pen-pal relationship, is that right?
Yes, it was a bit of a strange one, admittedly, but I got to know one of the other lags, as you'd say, in there, and I saw a picture of this girl one day, and I said,
"Hello,
who is she?"
Yes.
And can I write to her?
So, what do you mean you saw a picture?
It was on one of my acquaintances' cell walls.
Okay, right.
To which he replied, "Well, actually, it's my sister, and she's serving a 4-year stretch as well."
Oh, hang on a second. So, and this is Sandra, wasn't it?
Yes.
What had Sandra done?
Well, she had been convicted of robbery.
Okay. So both of you very, very naughty, and you appreciate that.
Yes, without doubt.
So you started writing to her?
Yeah. Within a week, we were writing every single day, and although there's no post on Sundays, we were still writing on Sundays and getting a double letter.
And were you doing the proper writing, where you sit down with a pen and paper and doing it?
Oh, yeah, there's no email.
It's hard work, isn't it? I tried to write a letter recently. It's quite hard work, isn't it, writing with a pen these days?
Well, when you get plenty of time to practice it with nothing else to do, you do get the chance to.
How quickly did it go from just being a nice chat to actually developing into a relationship?
I couldn't actually say, because it was just a natural progression, and we got to talk more and more and more, and I then was in an open prison.
Right.
And so was she. And we actually arranged to actually meet up on day release.
Really? How? So you had day release on the same day. Where did you go then? Where did you first meet up?
Well, we actually met at Platform 3, Portsmouth Harbour, on August the 23rd, 2003.
Wow, you know dates. You know dates and everything.
Well, it's worth remembering.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Saves grief.
When you met up with her the first time, what did you think? Because quite often you can meet people you've been pen pals with and you go, oh, blimey, that was an old photo.
Well, I think my first reaction was, oh my God, because on her way to the station, when she was changing train, she'd fallen down the stairs and scraped her knees, so she's a bit bloodied and battered when I met her.
OK, right, that's not a cracking first start. And how long into your sentence was it that you both met?
We were both towards... within the last 6 months of our sentences.
Okay.
So that's why we were in open prisons with the gradual release into the community.
And did you propose to her?
Yet again, a bit of a strange one. Because within a month of our actual first date, we both got released, and by sheer fluke, we were both released from opposite ends of the country to hostels within a mile of each other.
Yeah.
And so we just started dating, and a few months later, she came up to the hostel I was staying late at night and proposed to me.
Oh, I see. And what did you think?
Well, I've been served so long in prison, it was a case of, well, it's only an extension to a sentence.
It's another institution. Dive straight in there, for goodness sakes. How long ago was that? How long have you been married now?
Well, our wedding anniversary is on the 6th of next month, and we've been married 9 years.
Hey, nice one. Congratulations. Well done. You've got a little girl as well, haven't you?
Yes, we have.
How old is she?
She's 3, going on 30.
When you were stuck in prison, they are that age, aren't they? They're hard work. When you were stuck in prison, did you ever think that this awful situation, I guess your rock bottom that you'd hit, that it could lead to a completely positive turnaround in your life?
Well, no, but the thing is, when you hit as low as you can go, there is only 2 options. You can either stay at that level, or you can build up from that. And it hasn't been easy. We've had many a setback. There's been one person who needs a special mention because he's really championed our cause, and that's the local MP, Andy Selou, has been absolutely great.
In what way has Andy Selou helped?
Well, we've just gone through a very traumatic period where we were having trouble with antisocial neighbours.
Right.
The police were very reluctant to get involved, and as it was, we had a complaint upheld by the IPCC.
Right.
But all through that, I was asking the MP to get involved and see if he can get to the bottom of it.
A complaint upheld against the neighbours?
No, the IPCC complaint was actually upheld against the police.
Oh, against the police, right, sorry, of course, yes, okay.
For mistakes that they made,
okay.
And apologies said, and it was nice to be vindicated. But he championed all the way through us, helped us, and he's been one of the few people who actually believed us.
Very quickly, Paul, there will be some people listening who think that when you go to prison you should throw away the key, particularly for what you did. It was a very serious offence, that you should throw away the key, and things like pen pals and things like that, you shouldn't be allowed. What would you say to them?
I would say that reform is part of going to prison, and it's what you make of it when you get out. The sentence itself is a time for you to reflect on your actions, and it's your release that you truly start the sentence. That is when you have to prove everyone wrong. Unfortunately, in this day and age, very few people can do that because of the lack of support they get.
Well, listen, here at BBC Three Counties Radio, particularly this show, we do like to give people a second chance, and you've expressed an interest, haven't you, in an ambassadorship. Where do you want to be ambassador of?
Well, I mean, Leighton Buzzard.
You want to be the ambassador of Leighton Buzzard?
Yeah, quite gladly.
Listen, I am more than happy to embrace people with criminal records. It sounds like you've made a positive change in your life. Your Excellency, you are the ambassador of Leighton Buzzard. Thank you very much. You have to live up to that role, though.
That's not a problem. I will be letting everyone know which bar I will be setting my embassy up in.
Excellent stuff. Well, I see it's going to be like that, is it? Well, listen, congratulations. Well done to you and Sandra, isn't it?
Yes.
Well done for turning your life around. It's a really nice story. Thank you very much. And well done for being the ambassador of Leighton Buzzard as well. Morning, it's Iain Lee, BBC Three Counties Radio. Busy show. Lots to come in the last hour as well, including more on this road improvement in Dunstable. Improvement or disprovement? This road sharing scheme, what do you reckon? Any good? We're also giving away ambassadorships and king and queenships. If you want one, call up and let me know why you deserve it. Oh, and lots of other bits and pieces as well, particularly if you want to show off about the roles your kids or your grandkids have got in school plays. Let's see if we can assemble a full cast before the end of the show. Facebook.com/BBC3CR. Text 81333. Start your text 3CR, or you can give me a call. 08459 455 555.
Across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
We are giving away ambassadorships of villages and towns throughout the three counties. There is also the chance to have a king or indeed a queen of each of the counties. Now, Jay is in Dunstable. Jay, you want to be the king of beds?
Of course I do, yeah.
Why do you think you deserve it?
Well, I serve the community as it is. I'm a bus driver for Luton and Dunstable.
Right.
And I drive on the busway. I'm up early every morning taking people to work. And I keep the economy running, I suppose, by taking people to work. And
Hey, did you hear about this lorry the other day that drove up the busway?
Yeah, I saw it yesterday.
Really?
I reported it, yeah.
What a muppet!
Oh, we've had worse than that. We've had motorcycles. We've had foreign visitors that can't speak a word of English drive up their car and blow both of their tyres out.
How often do you get something driving up there that shouldn't drive up there?
Probably. Once a day?
Really?
Yeah.
Fantastic. Jay, are you working now?
I am. I'm pulled over in a bus stop at the moment.
Oh, for goodness sake. You've pulled over in a bus stop to phone us?
Well, no, you rang me.
But is there anyone on your bus?
No, not at the moment.
OK, fine. Well, in that case... Jay, listen, you are officially the King of Bedfordshire.
Thank you very
but
much.
I warn you now, the King and Queenship is different from the ambassadorship. Once you're an ambassador, unless there's a vote of no confidence, you pretty much stay ambassador. But the King or Queen can be challenged at any point. If that happens, then we have to have a duel live on air, OK?
Sounds good to me.
So for the moment, Jay, you've got the gig. It's the King of Bedfordshire, His Majesty himself, Jay of Dunstable. But anybody who wants to challenge him, they can do, and there will be a duel live on air. 08459 455 555 is the telephone number. I hope someone's keeping track of all these. OK, excellent, thank you, because I'm getting lost already. 08459 455 555. We're talking about Dunstable because we had lots of calls about it yesterday. And we thought we'd have a look, and I'm glad we did, because it really is something special. The road layout has been changed, and markings have been removed. And people living there are calling for the council to act before someone is seriously injured. The so-called shared space scheme... It's confusing both motorists and pedestrians, and some say there have been several accidents, including one involving a 4-year-old girl. Well, Justin Dealey has been there all morning. And Justin, you've had lots of people approaching you this morning, haven't you?
Absolutely, Ian. It's, as I say, I'm right now on Court Drive. I'm looking up and down this road. As I mentioned to you earlier on, there are roundabouts which don't look like roundabouts. You have a bus lane here, you have no road markings, and the key thing for me is that there's no traffic lights or zebra crossings, so people can't get across the road safely. I think this next clip sums it up, really. Here's somebody I spoke to yesterday, and he's been describing the problems here in Dunstable.
I think it's ridiculously dangerous. This road is absolutely chaos.
Tell us why.
People don't know which side of the road to drive. I've seen a lot of cars just sort of they drive wrong side of the road, and there's no way, like the zebra crossing. It's ridiculous. It's just absolutely... People start crossing you while you're driving, and it's just really dangerous. I think it's ridiculous.
And seriously, you've actually seen people driving the wrong way up the road?
Wrong side of the road. I have seen it.
How scary is that to witness that?
Absolutely... Believe me, it's terrible to see, as you are a driver, seeing someone driving wrong side of the road.
And people just can't cross, can they? Because if you look down there's no road markings, there's a bus lane as well. People cannot cross that road in safety.
Not at all. Not at all. It's as I said, all of a sudden they come on the road and you think, oh my God, people jump in and then you suddenly brake and then you see them, it's just... crossing the road.
Just lastly, do you think the person who designed that road is an absolute idiot?
I would say definitely. I could do better design than that. I'll tell you now. I don't know whoever's done it. You shouldn't do that. Simple as.
Justin,
I think.
Thank you very much indeed for that. Well, 08459 455 555. I'm joined by Central Beds councillors Julian Murray for the Independents and Nigel Young, who's Conservative. Good morning to both of you.
Good morning.
Julian, what do you think of this shared space?
Well, before I start, can I say that, first of all, Nigel, I'm not after political point scoring this morning, because we both want the best for Dunstable. We're just coming at it from a different way. Well, I don't think Nigel and I will ever agree on Court Drive, so I shall put my case, which is similar to the gentleman who was just speaking on your taped interview just now. Let's look at it really. First of all, the road is too wide for this sort of thing, and it's a through route. And as I understand it, from having read some stuff about this, these sort of schemes were not really designed for such busy roads. It's cost £1.2 million net over the last 18 months, approximately, and that equates to about £34 per person for every man, woman and child in Dunstable. A lot of the points that I was going to make had been made by the interview that was carried out.
Do you think it's dangerous, Julian?
I think it's dangerous. I nearly got knocked down outside I was just crossing from the bus stop just towards the shops and the theatre.
Well, let's put those to Nigel. Nigel, we are getting... Julian there thinks it's dangerous. We're getting so many calls from people who think it's dangerous. We heard about a young lady that had been clipped by a bus. We've heard about all potential accidents. It is dangerous, isn't it?
Well, it hasn't been dangerous during the last year. I mean, as Julian's very well aware, this is not a new road. This has been open for the best part of a year now, and there actually haven't been any accidents. But can I take a moment just to say...
I dispute that, Nigel. The young lady who just got knocked down earlier in the year.
The young lady, Julian, who I probably wouldn't have mentioned, but as it's been mentioned, actually ran into the side of a stationary car, and that's the truth of it. The reality is that we have reduced speeds on Court Drive from in excess of 30, because we did speed surveys before the work was carried out, to 19 miles an hour. And I was interested earlier, Iain, to hear Ray, the blind gentleman, who actually said, far from saying Court Drive was dangerous, he actually said he had no problems on Court Drive, that motorists were courteously stopping to allow him to cross the road.
No, Nigel, you've chosen to pick and choose. He said that some would stop in the bend, but then others would come and overtake. Have a listen.
I don't want to correct you. He was talking, but
Nigel,
I have to. He was talking about Luton Road, Iain.
Nigel, let's listen to what he said, shall we?
Yeah, we shall.
If he could come down and see, I thought it was an offence for a car not to stop at a Pelican crossing. Now, if he wants me to go down with him and walk to the along Court Drive, I will do that. Or if he wants me to go to the Pelican crossing, I will meet him there and see the trap that we're in there, really.
Would you go down to Court Drive with him, Nigel?
Quite willingly, but his problem's actually Luton Road and Boscombe Road.
Nigel, it was both. You're picking and choosing what you're hearing.
I'm not trying to.
Nigel, you are, because I spoke to him.
I'll be happy to meet him, Iain.
Okay, excellent. Well, you stay on after we finish this, and we will put you in touch with Ray, and we'll send you down there with one of our reporters.
No problem at all.
We'll find out. But we are getting lots of comments, Nigel, from people saying it is dangerous. Someone on Facebook says, what happens when it snows?
We'll grit the road, Iain.
Right, but they instantly...
We grit the roads in advance based on overnight temperature forecasts.
OK, so you can guarantee that road will never be covered with snow?
I can guarantee any road will never be covered with snow.
Well, exactly, Nigel. So what happens when it's covered with snow?
Well, we'll do our best to keep it clear, Iain.
Who has right-of-way, pedestrians or cars?
The Highway Code, Rule 174, though to be fair that deals with road junctions, says when a pedestrian has started crossing the road, cars should give way.
OK, that deals with road junctions. What about this stretch of road?
Well, Iain, there's been two courtesy crossings on this road since time immemorial. One at the diagonal from Asda to Grove House and one in Vernon Place.
I don't know what a courtesy crossing is or how it works. Could you explain it to us?
A courtesy crossing simply highlights a piece of road where pedestrians have a desire line.
A desire line? What's that? So they want to cross the road, but they don't have any right-of-way?
They have the opportunity to go from point A to point B.
Nigel, that's any part of any road. We were talking yesterday about how unsafe roads are and how people don't know the Green Cross Code. To not have a designated crossing on a very busy road sounds a little bit silly.
Iain, if we can reduce speeds, which we have done, to 19 miles an hour, we make it much, much safer for people who might be, God forbid, involved in an accident. There have not been any accidents on Court Drive since it opened.
Kay says on Facebook, the whole and this is just one of many comments, the whole layout is dangerous. Getting in and out of Asda's, you are taking your life into your own hands, and at the other end of the road it's the same. It's ridiculous.
But also on Facebook, Drake Hardcastle says it requires the driver to be considerate and aware of pedestrians. I drive down that road regularly. You're doing the same as me. You're picking a Facebook comment. Iain, I can't change people's perceptions. I can only deal with the reality of what has happened.
You've picked the one comment on Facebook that's in favour. I mean, I could sit here and read out the other 10 that are against it.
Well, yeah, OK, there aren't 10 there. There's only 7, but I'm not trying to be picky with you, Ian. You're not giving me a chance to say what the objective is in Court Drive.
Lena says, sorry, Ian, he's talking rubbish. Not long ago, a 5-year-old was run over on this road.
I've just said that isn't the case.
Well, Lena says you're talking rubbish. Julian, what would you like to say to Nigel?
Sorry?
What would you like to say to Nigel, Julian? What points would you like to make?
Well, first of all, the last meeting I went to, it was reported that the average speed was 21 miles an hour, not 19, but obviously Nigel's got some later information. He was talking about the diagonal crossing desire line between Grove House Gardens and the supermarket car park. I have to say, because I've measured it, and so is Michael from the fish and chip shop, I think he was speaking to him earlier, that is the same width as 6 motorway lanes. And I wouldn't want to cross 6 motorway lanes under any circumstances if there was any moving traffic.
Julian, we're running out of time. Nigel, you're right, I have been interrupting you, so the last 30 seconds are yours. I shall remain quiet, sir.
Thank you, Ian. Simply, shared space is designed to change the way people use roads and streets. We have reduced speeds on Court Drive, and we believe that were there any accidents there, God forbid, that they would not be serious accidents. It's improved the environment for pedestrians and for motorists, and thank you for your courtesy in letting me say that.
It's a pleasure, Nigel, and thank you for being a good sport. It's always nice to talk to you. Councillor Nigel Young there and Councillor Julian Murray, both disagreeing. He was right, I was interrupting a little bit, so it's fair to let him have a full crack of the whip at the end there. A very, very important night for you tonight, JVS. Live in concert. What is it tonight exactly that's happening? Your Taser Special.
My Taser Special. Yep. Yes, I was, you'll know, I have strong views on the use of the taser.
I believe so, yes.
And, I mean, if I had my way, more people would be routinely tasered.
Yes, just to keep them in check.
Well, I feel the police should have far more freedom to use their taser. So tonight I am hosting a Taser Spesh in the Toco Youth Space in Luton. We have police officers, taser-trained police officers, who will talk about it. We'll show the video when I went down into London to be taser-trained by the Metropolitan Police.
I've heard some of the audio from that.
Yeah.
It is hilarious.
Hilarious.
Taser him! Taser him!
Yes. The police officer did say to me afterwards, yeah, I mean, it was quite good. You might have been a little bit too eager to tase. I thought I was being well behaved. I would have tasered him the minute I walked in.
You did sound genuinely terrified when that fellow was having a go at you.
Well, let me tell you something.
Yeah.
He was absolutely massive. He was enormous, this guy.
Wonderful.
He was huge. He was as kind of wide with muscles as he was tall. And he was sitting there and he had this... They put him in this taser jacket, you see.
Right.
As part of the taser training. So he was kind of... Imagine this, Mr. Michelin.
Yeah.
Suddenly he pulls out a dirty great knife on me.
Oh, blimey.
You know, and it's a real knife.
So it's a bit... I'm confused. Are people supposed to bring their own tasers tonight and they throw them into a goldfish bowl? What happens?
No, there'll be none of that. We'll have the lawyer Sophie Khan.
Oh, she's good.
She's not very keen on use of taser.
She's not very keen on you as well, it would say, from your previous encounters.
No, that's true. No, I don't think she's very keen on me. So she'll be there. We'll have taser-trained police officers. It will be a feisty debate. And lots of people coming as well.
Is it sold out?
Yes.
Ooh.
I'm afraid if you haven't responded to the email, then you can't come tonight because we're full.
And what's happening? Are you recording this for a broadcast at some point?
Yes, it's going to be a future Taser Spesh on the JVS show before Christmas.
Wow. Merry Christmas, everybody.
Merry Christmas.
Who knows, maybe you'll be getting one in your stocking.
A taser?
Wouldn't that be lovely? Oh, Dad, it's just what I've always wanted.
Seriously?
Yeah.
I think everyone can sleep easy knowing that I chose broadcasting over being a police officer. Can you imagine?
I hope it goes very well tonight. I'm sure it'll be a raging success. I'm looking forward to listening to the recording.
I'd taser anybody running away from me.
Yes, I was trying to move away because you're actually making yourself sound like a bit of a thug. So that's why I was trying to...
Give him a zap in the back.
Well, let's just calm down. What's on your show today, my love?
Coming up on the big phone in this morning at 9, is it immoral to live in a council house if you can afford to privately rent?
This is a great story.
Union boss Bob Crow earns £145,000 a year, but he lives in a council house at the taxpayer's expense. He's told journalists this morning he has no moral duty to leave despite his generous salary.
Yeah.
I was born in a council house, so I'll die in one, he said. Well, you might argue Mr. Crow should rent privately, so another needy family could use the home, or perhaps you think he has the right to stay there, and who are we to argue? Whether you're waiting for a council house yourself, you took the decision to move out of a council house when your earnings changed, or you just care about how your taxpayers' money is used. I want your view views on the big phone in this morning from 9. Is it immoral to live in a council house if you can afford to privately rent? I guess the counter-argument to all of this is that if you say council houses are only for people who are very poor or who are on the breadline, then where's the incentive to kind of get the job and go out there and better yourself if you know that ultimately, after a couple of months, they're going to say, oh, you're earning that much? Right, out of that house, we need that for another family.
I understand what you're saying, but I always thought council housing was there to it was to help people who were in need of help. Wasn't it? In the same way that benefits are there to help people who are in need of help until they get themselves into a position where they don't need help anymore.
Presumably, though, Bob Crow must have been in need of help initially. Because I would imagine you can't be given a council house if you're earning £145,000 a year. You know, you'd like to think that they do a few checks on you and your finances. But if, let's say, you get given a council house when you're on your uppers, and you're given the house for you and your family, and you then go out there and you get a job and you start earning some money, and after a couple of years you're earning £30,000-40,000. Is it fair then for the council to turn around and say, right, well, you're now earning a reasonable salary, out that house, take your children out, you need to go and privately rent? Is that really fair?
There's a big difference between £30,000-40,000 and £145,000. That's salary and expenses and bonuses, all kind of things put in there, but that's a lot of money to be taking home a year.
Well, from 9 on 08459 455 555, is it immoral to live in a council house if you can afford to privately rent?
Call 08459 455 555.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Now, we're always hearing how the reason kids get into trouble and the reason they're fat is because they're bored, they don't get anything to do. So you'd think a proposal to build a multi-purpose sports venue in one of the most deprived areas of Luton would be welcomed with open arms. Well, you're wrong. Planning officers for Luton Borough Council look set to reject the Dallow Development Trust's plan to convert a former factory unit in Hightown because it doesn't fit in with their plans for regeneration. The council's sporting trust, Active Luton, is also objecting. They already run a facility in the area. Well, Haroon Ahmed is from the Dallow Development Trust. Good morning, Haroon.
Good morning, Ian.
You already run one centre in the Dallow area of Luton. What activities do you offer?
Right, we've been running the centre for the last 10 years. The trust has been active, in the Dallow ward, and we're running various sporting activities as part of the centre's way of actually working with and having an impact on the health and well-being agenda as well. They range from a boxing club, five-side football, and we're looking at introducing the concept of cage cricket, which is a new concept, a new spin-off towards, in terms of cricket, in the Dallow ward, and we would like to work in the Hightown area as well.
Why Hightown? Why do you want to go to Hightown?
We just feel that, Hightown is an area that we believe has no structured activities in terms of youth work, especially. And yes, we are aware that Active Luton are doing some element of work there, but we don't feel they're meeting the needs and the requirements in the area. And we just feel that if there's any way that we can have an insight into the Hightown area and work, we just feel that it would benefit the town, the both areas, as well as, for us, because in terms of for what we have new is we would like to basically work on the concept of indoor cricket, which is greatly needed in this town.
The whole process looks a bit farcical, because we've seen emails saying that Active Luton support your plan, yet on the council website they're listed as an objector. Is that right?
Do you know what, Ian? It's very strange, and this is a question that we're trying to ask and get answers for ourselves. The fact is, there is, people listed on this on this particular subject as opposing or objecting. When we've approached them and we've asked individuals, and they've said no, they've not objected towards this proposal whatsoever. The question is really why this is happening, and unfortunately we don't have the answer to this. It's the LBC officers that have the answer to this.
A decision's been made in January, is that correct?
We hope so. Okay. We hope that the decision is made, and it's in the benefit of the town. We personally feel that this is not a planning issue. We feel this is more political, and hence the reason why we have this obstacle. Now, again, we don't have the answers to this. Unfortunately, it's the council. and maybe the council officers
Haroon,
in particular.
Listen, do keep in touch, because we're keen to follow this story and see what happens. That's Haroon Ahmed from the Dallow Development Trust. Well, one person who is supporting the plan is Jed McRory. He's the owner and chairman of Swindon Town Football Club. Morning, Jed.
Morning, Ian.
What made you want to get involved?
Well, I grew up in Hightown when I moved out from Ireland with my family as a young lad. And I grew up in Butterworth Park in the middle, and we had a Hightown Recreation Centre at the bottom, and we had people that were around the community. They always helped the community and helped people and younger lads within the area. So we had Hightown Recreation Centre then, and obviously that's been closed.
Yeah. So you need something there. We've covered Hightown a lot, and Hightown has suffered a lot recently with prostitution and drug dealing taking place there. Do you think something like a sports centre like this would help turn that around?
Well, it's like I said, I think the only thing that we had as we grew up was the sports centre, but we also had the football club, like Ricky Hill, Brian Steen, and even Bill Tomlins at the time would come up to Hightown and give tickets to the lads and try and engage them in sport, as John Ashton used to come around and get kids into boxing, and the society's changed, as we all know, and it appears Hightown's changed massively, but I still believe the people are there that will support anything that may come forward to try and help their kids. But it's quite sad for me to come back. I mean, I come back on quite a regular basis to see and to see that things are going the other way and people are starting to lose heart. It's disappointing.
Why do you think the planning officers are advising Luton Borough Council to reject the plan?
Well, they must have something. I mean, you can't just develop an area and not bring any sport in for kids or any activities for even the elder people, like walking football or something that's becoming quite popular. Obviously, we're doing it now more at Swindon and engaging a lot of the community centres. So it'd be interesting to see if they do reject it, what they're actually offering the people of Hightown.
Jed, I really appreciate your time this morning. That's Jed McRory, the owner and chairman of Swindon Town Football Club. We'll be following that story. Who knows, maybe in January we will be able to report some good news for the people of Hightown.
Email
3cr@bbc.co.uk.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Oh boy, what a busy show we've got this morning. So, we'll carry on talking about Dunstable this morning, the stretch of road that, Nigel Young, the councillor, did a sterling job of defending it. We're getting lots of angry comments about that, though. Some of you are furious about this stretch of road. Let me read Penny's message on Facebook, if I can get this computer to work. Facebook.com/BBC3CR is the thing. No, I can't. Could you get Penny? Penny's done... Is it there in my EMPS? Let's have a little look. Where is why is my computer going all... here we go. Penny, yes. There's another one. There's a longer one somewhere. If you could get that one. My computer's gone all funny. Gwenny says, it's horrible around this bit. Stopped going that way home after I got overtaken whilst doing the 20 speed limit, as he nearly took the back quarter of my car with him. So much worse than it used to be. Just some lines to split the sides. If the road will make a huge difference to safety, especially new people using that road. Adam says, no accidents, pure lies. What about a few months ago when a Range Rover mounted the stupid concrete mini roundabout? Joanna says, I actually drove on the wrong side of the road last week. It was awful. Denise says, it's just awful. My 80-year-old mother is so scared to cross there. Also, what on earth is happening to Dunstable? Just look at how everyone has to go right round the Sainsbury petrol station instead of driving straight forward on Dunstable Road. How can anyone call this progress? That's it. Thank you very much. Penny says, Ian, Councillor Young is talking rubbish. Desire line, courtesy crossing... these were phrases that Councillor Young used. Have improved for pedestrians are just few of the words that mean he has no real knowledge of what residents thinks. Plus, no ideas of reality of accidents. 5-year-old, lady clipped by bus, cars stranded on grass bits, and minute-to-minute confrontations with people, cars and buses. He needs to get his head out of the sand before fatalities occur regularly. I'm so angry at this total denial. 08459 455 555. Can we spread it as well to disprovements, we're calling it? Unimprovements, disprovements, where people have made, well, what they consider to be improvements on roads or to buildings or anywhere, but have actually made things worse. 08459 455 555. Also this morning, 25 minutes to celebrate if your child or your grandchild has got a part in the school play. My little boy, he's one of only 3 people in his class who has got a spoken line. He's a shepherd. He's opening the show? That's the best role, yeah? He's opening the show. He's setting the scene. Basically, you sit down. My boy is telling you what you're going to get. Then you make the decision. Do I want to stay? Do I want to go? If he sells it well, if everybody stays, that means my son has done his job properly.
You know, and if he does his job properly, maybe next year he'll be Snowflake, stroke reporter, narrator 4.
That's
like
what
my daughter.
your girl's doing, isn't it?
Yeah, she's proved herself last year, you see. So
these are important roles. If you want to celebrate whatever your child or your grandchild is doing in the school play, 08459 455 555. And if they haven't got the part they wanted, phone up, tell us what they should have got. Kelly Betts, what are you doing in the school play this year?
I'm Jesus.
Do you have any lines?
No, I just pretend to cry.
Excellent stuff indeed. Well, we look forward to seeing that. Luann's in Flitwick. Good morning, Luann.
Hello.
What did you say? Good night.
I said hello.
Oh, hello. You're right. What are you doing? You're all out of breath.
I'm scraping the car and I'm late for the kids.
Oh, forget the kids. Who cares about those? Hey, how old are your kids?
Nearly 15, nearly 9.
Oh, have they got parts in school plays or are they too busy drinking hooch?
I don't think they do school plays now.
Oh, flip it. Isn't that terrible?
My nephew, he's
gone mad.
My nephew's opening his school play, though.
Oh, really?
He's narrator.
Oh, wonderful. How old is he?
He's 5 next week, on Sunday.
Isn't that exciting?
Yeah.
Very exciting. Has he practiced his lines in front of you?
Oh, absolutely.
Go on, give us a bit. Go on.
Welcome to blah, blah, blah school play. And then he goes into lots of things that I don't really understand.
There we go. It's probably about Octonauts and Ben 10. Don't worry.
Yeah, absolutely with him.
Now, Luann, you've called in about something very important, haven't you? What is it you'd like us to do for you today?
Well, I would be humbled and overjoyed if I could be ambassador for Amptil.
What makes you think you could do the job? What would you bring to the role?
Well, I come from a very long line of Amptillians. I was born in Amptil. I have a business in Amptil. I've been around for 43 years and I'm proud of my town.
Okay, here's the thing. Can you get us the gossip on what's going on? I want all the dirty gossip and everybody.
Can I get back to you that tomorrow? Because my kids are banging on their windows and the car's going, Mum, we're going to be late for school, and that's not really going to be a good thing for me to be an ambassador for an Amptil school if they're late, really, is it?
Luann, you may have just shown you're not fully committed. Let's discuss this tomorrow, Luann.
Absolutely, I'm with you, as long as it's before 8:30.
Okay, you see, thank you, Luann.
I don't think she's taking it seriously enough.
I don't think she's passed muster there, really. What's muster, by the way?
Something you've got to pass.
She's not passed it. I mean, I know the kids getting to school. Her kids aren't in the school play. She's not really what we...
I understand education's important.
Yeah.
But gossip, surely, comes first.
Am I putting her on the list or what?
No.
We'll see. We'll see.
We'll see, but I think we pretty much made up our mind, haven't we?
The good thing about Luann is she can see everything that's going on from her shop.
As long as it's before 8:30.
Well, yeah, there is that.
Shall I pencil it in? Shall I pencil it in and then we can go over it in capitals?
Pencil it in, but put 3 big question marks after it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
If anybody wants to call up and be ambassador for Amptil, I mean, really, if you want to show dedication above and beyond, 08459 455 555. This isn't... Listen, I'm not just handing out airy-fairy, meaningless titles. At some point, we're going to have a banquet with all the ambassadors and the kings and queens. It's going to be a royal banquet. So I don't want people, I can't do it because the kids are... No, I want full dedication to the cause. Sarah's in Long Crendon. Morning, Sarah.
Morning, Ian.
You've called in to show off, have you?
Well, kind of, yeah.
Away you go. Go on.
My youngest son, Jack, he's 12. He's in secondary school, so they don't actually do a school play as such, but they are putting on a production of Grease.
Oh.
And although he doesn't have an acting role, he's playing the electric bass in the school band.
Is he really?
Yes.
Oh, well, that's very exciting, isn't it?
It is, yes. I'm getting a bit sick of the beginning frame of Grease, hearing just the bass notes coming through the ceiling, but it's all good.
Is he any good?
Yeah, he's actually quite good. Yeah, he's not doing bad at all. His dad was a professional bass player, so he's kind of got it in the genes. That's the one, thank you. Yeah.
How many times have you heard that so far coming through the floorboards?
Oh, I'd say probably, it's got to be a good couple of hundred.
You'll never get sick of this. Sarah, excellent stuff. What's his name?
Jack.
Jack, well done, Jack. Where did kids start doing Grease at school plays? When did they start doing that? Mine, it was West Side Story. Yes, Kelly?
One year
Yeah.
at school, I was Gretel in The Sound of Music. It's good, isn't it?
I've never
Good
seen The Sound of
role.
Music. I don't know if-
smallest child.
I was the smallest child.
You were 18 years old at the time.
Yeah, well, yeah. And
I
then the
am
following
16
year-
going on 17. That's the only thing I know from The Sound of Music. Oh, and The Hills Are Alive With, of course.
Yeah. And then the following year, which was our production,
Boy,
our
oh boy,
year,
I hope this story starts getting interesting soon.
I played a wheel.
A wheel?
A wheel.
A wheel?
Of a car. Of
A
a,
wheel
of a carriage.
Well, then why are you not saying wheel?
I thought I was.
You're saying will.
Maybe that's why they made me do it, because I couldn't speak.
So say it again.
Wheel.
Say it as you said it.
I played a wheel.
Say it properly. Just throw it away. Throw that word away.
Wheel.
08459 455 555 is the telephone number if you want to give us a call. Lots going on in the last 20 minutes of the show. Can we get Justin on the line at some point? I wonder if... I bet he's been in a school play. I can just imagine. Grease has just reminded me of Justin, because that's what he is. I bet he's been in a school play. I'd love to see a picture of him in the school play, like a little shepherd with a tea towel on his head. That's how you do it. That's the shepherd's costume, by the way. Lots to talk about in the last 20 minutes of the show, so we can throw out all of these one more time. We're talking about the roads in Dunstable, the shared highway. Any good, or is it dangerous? And on the back of that, where have improvements been made? Disprovements. Where have they been made? But actually, it's made things worse. 08459 455 555. We are giving away ambassadorships of towns and villages throughout Beds, Herts and Bucks. So far, we've got Paul is the ambassador of Leighton Buzzard. And the thing about Paul is, he's done time. That shows we don't discriminate. You see, we do not discriminate. Everyone is entitled to a second chance. Colin's the ambassador of Dunstable. Luann is probably not going to be the ambassador of Ampthill. I mean, I don't want to do her down, but blimey, she was awful, wasn't she? And Jay is the king of Bedfordshire. You see? So that's what we're dealing with. By the way, ambassadorships, they're pretty much annual, but the King and Queen, they can be challenged at any point. 08459 455 555. And we're throwing cynicism to the wind today to celebrate my boy and Catherine's daughter having pivotal roles within the school plays. Phone up. If your kids are in the school play this year, 08459 455 555. Phone up and show off. Tell us what part they are. If you think they deserve a better part, then you let us know. You let us know exactly what role they should have. Clive in Dunstable says, the main problem, this is with the roads, of course, is the assumption that anyone who drives there understands the system. Of course, this is not the case, especially with people visiting the theatre. I've been faced with a driver coming straight towards me on the wrong side of the road. You can go and have a look at the picture, facebook.com/BBC3CR. Mike's in Aylesbury. Mike, you want to show off?
I do, yes. Your lovely assistant, Kelly, who has the sweetest voice on radio, said that she was Gretel in The Sound of Music.
Yes.
I don't think there was a Gretel in The Sound of Music. There was a Gretchen, the little one, but not a Gretel.
Hang on a second.
She's confused with Hansel and
Hang on a second. Can I just say, Mike, I do believe you are a pigeon and you are now surrounded by cats. No, hang on. No, you're a cat. Anyway, both of those women are angry. Kelly Betts, to you first.
I was Gretel. That was her name, and that's what people called me in the play.
Where have you got this information from, Mike?
Well, I'm a great Sound of Music fan.
I've never seen The Sound of Music. Is it any good?
Sure. The best film ever.
Okay, and yet you think it's a Gretchen?
I think it's Gretchen.
Catherine Boyle is...
She knows that as well.
Mum is stepping in now. Go on, Mum.
Mike. Watch it again. I think you'll find you're wrong.
I will.
Oh, blimey. Oh, don't...
Gretel.
Right, I've got to go on the internet. 08459 455 555. Who's right? Is it a Gretchen or is it a Gretel? Mike, you're if you've got this wrong, I'm afraid we're going to have to ask you to stop listening to BBC Three Counties Radio.
Right. I think I could possibly cope with that, but I don't know.
Outrageous.
How rude. Mike, you sound like somebody, and I'm trying to think. Just say, Mike, for me, This week, on the South Bank show, we'll be looking at The Sound of Music.
This week on the South Bank show, we'll be looking at The Sound of Music.
It's Melvin Bragg, isn't it? It's Melvin Bragg! Mike, listen.
Melvin Bragg.
Mike, keep listening.
He would know the right answer.
Didn't he sound like him?
He did.
What a great voice to have. Okay, right, well, who'd have thought? This is the beauty of doing a show like this on Three Counties Radio. Okay? Tell Mike he can clip this for a trail. This is the beauty of doing a show like this on Three Counties Radio. We've got all of this stuff out there. We're talking about dangerous roads. We're talking about sports centres. We're talking about all kinds of things. The last 15 minutes of the show will be us working out whether it's Gretchen or Gretel in The Sound of Music. The phones have gone bonkers. Alice, is it Gretchen or is it Gretel?
Gretel.
Are you sure?
Yes.
OK, let's see what the listener has to say. Coming up, Gretchen or Gretel? You decide. Before that, let's get the weather. Here's Elizabeth. Thank you very much. Is it Gretchen or Gretel?
Who?
Oh, dear. Kim on Facebook says, Iain, it's definitely Gretel. Melvin Bragg is wrong. Can we get that clip of him? The Melvin Bragg thing. I thought didn't he sound like him? What a wonderful authoritative voice to have, to possess. Okay, a caller who's was it Mike? Was that his name? Mike called in, and there is now a huge debate as to whether it's Gretel or Gretchen. Kelly Betts was playing. I'm confused now. Which one do you think it is, Kelly?
Gretel. I played Gretel.
You also played a wheel of a car.
A wheel.
Okay. Rosie's in Redbourne. Good morning, Rosie.
Good morning.
I can't believe that this is what everybody's phoning in about. Go on, what's happened? What have you got for us?
It's definitely Gretel. I've seen the film billions of times. I've actually got the clip ready to play on the air.
Can you play it to us now?
Yeah.
Okay, away you go. Probably breaking some copyright here, but never mind.
So that you can call them when you want them.
Friedrich! Luisa! Kurt! Patricia! Martha!
Gretel.
Oh, that's made me laugh. I've never seen the film, so him coming in with that authoritative voice is Gretel.
There you are.
Well, Rose, thank you so much for that. I mean, I'm disappointed that Melvin Bragg has let us down so much. Rose, I appreciate that. Well done. That was above and beyond. Excellent stuff. You ever seen The Sound of Music, Just?
A long time ago. It's probably a couple of hours that I sadly lost in my life.
I've never seen it. All I know, really, is The Hills Are Alive with, and I am 16, going on 17. That's it.
Can't you do The Hills Are Alive for us this morning? Come on. Put the echo on.
Okay, hang on a second. Hang on a second.
Come on, fella.
Hang on, here we go. Here we go. The hills are alive with the sound of music.
Oh, I'm in Caddington. Can I get your reaction to that, good people? Thank you.
Oh, how disappointing. Justin, what are you there for? What have you got?
Well, your brief was this morning, and correct me if I'm wrong here, you said go out and find a parent whose child is in a Christmas play. Is that correct?
That is absolutely correct. We are celebrating children who are in their school plays. We're letting people show off a bit today.
OK, so I'm kind of sticking to the brief here. I'm live in Caddington with Vicky. Vicky, good morning. You're live across Beds, Hearts and Bucks. First of all, how old is your son?
He's 23.
23 years old. He's at university. What's he studying, and what Christmas play is he about to appear in?
He's doing a biology degree at Cardiff, and he's in Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs.
And what's he playing?
Father Christmas.
I'm slightly confused. Where does Father Christmas fit into this?
I'm not sure. It's an adult version. I know there's a bit of whipping involved, but...
all right, okay.
Whoa, hang on a second. An adult version?
Yes.
With whipping involved?
Exactly. I've seen the publicity photographs. It looks rather, keep it clean, but it looks rather filthy, this show.
It looks a bit racy, yeah. I don't know any more than that. I'll have to go and have a look when it's on, but yeah.
Are you going to be going to watch as a proud mother?
Yeah, hopefully. He's always been a bit theatrical.
Interesting. So there you go, Ian. You sent me out. You said, find me a parent whose child is in a Christmas play, and I've done just that for you.
Have you ever been in the Christmas play, Just?
Oh, a long, long time ago. And do you know what? This is really, really sad, because this should really mean something to me, but I honestly can't remember.
Yeah.
My mum's probably sitting at home right now screaming at the radio, but I can't remember the play, and I can't remember what I was doing.
I seem to remember at some point being, I think I was a king, and there's a picture of me kind of being a king, but I don't quite know what I had to do.
I can see you being a king. Vicky, what about you? When you were younger, what about your Christmas plays? Can you remember what you played?
Always the narrator. I must have been boring, because I always got the narrator part.
And now your son's being whipped all these years.
Yeah, he's making up for it, isn't he?
There you go. She's a character, isn't she, old Vicky? Brilliant.
Yeah, Vicky, ask her, is she proud of her son being in a fetish play?
You're proud of your son being in a fetish play, aren't you?
Very proud of him.
Yeah?
Yeah, whatever takes your fancy, yeah.
Now, when you go, would you mind taking a few photographs for me and Ian?
For research purposes.
I can send you some publicity shots so you can see it as well.
And some backstage ones as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Purely for research. There you go, Ian. Fantastic.
Justin, excellent stuff as always. Thank you very much indeed. 08459 455 555. Lynn, you're in Wolverton and you want to show off this morning. Go on. Lynn?
Hello, and I'm in Bletchley, not Wolverton.
Oh, for goodness sakes. Right, Kelly Betts, that's £5.
That was me.
Right, well, Kelly Betts, that's £10 docked from your wages for grassing up a colleague. Catherine Boyle, that's £5 docked from your wages.
Soz.
There we go, indeed. Lynn in Bletchley.
Right.
Can we say Wolverton?
Say it with Gretel.
Lynn, can we say Wolverton just because it's on my screen and it makes it?
No, I'm Bletchley.
I know you're Bletchley.
Bed.
I know, but it just makes it easier for me and the system if we say Wolverton. Could you be the ambassador for Wolverton?
No.
Really?
No, I'm Bletchley. I'm Bletchley Ike.
Okay, all right. So Lynn in Bletchley. You want to boast about your child?
Well, mine have all left school and married and everything now. But first of all, my granddaughter, we went to see her in a play. She was one of Fagin's gang. And yes.
Fantastic.
That's fantastic. And when my children were at school, it was all the nativity plays. I had 3 of them that were shepherds.
Yep.
One was a king. And my daughter, she played Mary. Well, not at the same time, but the youngest one, he won't forget his because a girl behind him pushed him off the stage.
Yay! Yeah, you go, you see, that's what's wonderful. And listen, this is my first time seeing one of my kids in a school play. I mean, so the eldest had a couple of lines in a harvest festival. This is a proper, full-on school play. What's the feeling like, Lynn, when they're up there?
Unbelievable. You'll never forget it.
I'm very, very excited.
It's wonderful. You'll be so proud.
Lynn in Wolverton, thank you very much. Indeed. You're being very good sports this morning. Thank you so much. Samantha has texted in. My 6-week-old son has been asked to be the baby Jesus in the nativity play. Wonderful. Wonderful. How exciting is that? Ricky's in Dunstable. Good morning, Ricky.
Good morning, Ian.
Ricky, what can I do for you this morning?
Listen to you and Jonathan Bernard-Smith on that taser training he done.
Yeah, he's fully trained on the taser. Yes.
Well, they ought to make an Xbox game out of him doing it. You know, you just hear how they walk down the road. He's on the Xbox and that with a taser gun in his hand, and walking down the street and that, and seeing somebody eating fish and chips and saying to him, taser him, or somebody else having a cup of coffee, taser him. You just see that, can't you?
I can see. I would certainly pay top dollar for a JVS taser game.
Yeah, it would make a lot of money.
It would make a lot of money. And you just go and taser people indiscriminately because they were looking at you the wrong way or they were drinking a herbal tea?
He would, yeah.
Yeah. He's got a dark side to him, hasn't he, JVS?
Yeah, he has.
It's a very dark side.
It's a brilliant game, that. But you know the way they walk in it? Well, up and down and all that business.
They do walk up and down in those computer games. And also, he does look a little bit... I don't know if you know what JVS looks like. He does look a little bit... He looks a little bit like Mario, doesn't Super Mario?
Well, yeah, he looks something.
All he needs is a big curly moustache and he'd be Super Mario.
Well, he would, yeah. He could put it on as his toys in the game, couldn't he?
Exactly, Ricky. Exactly. Good point. Well made. Perfect caller. You see? Perfect caller there. That's what you need. I would. I can't just imagine a video game of JVS tasering people. I'm looking forward. If you're going to his show tonight, well, lucky old you. It's the hottest ticket in town. There's no denying it. So lucky old you. Just be warned. I know the temptation is great, but there will be police there. So I suggest you try and find another window. If you want. I'm encouraging the listeners to assassinate. I don't mean that in the slightest. Listen, thank you everybody who took part in the show this morning, particularly this gentleman.
This week on the South Bank show, we'll be looking at the sound of music.
It's Melvin Bragg, isn't it? It's Melvin Bragg. It was Melvin Bragg calling in. Who'd have thunk it? Who'd have thunk it? Don't forget, you can still go to Facebook and have a look at the picture of Dunstable and leave your comments there. Facebook.com/BBC3CR. Or you can send me an email at any point you want. Iain.lee, IAIN.LEE @bbc.co.uk. Particularly if you want to send in some emails, if you want to be an ambassador or indeed a king or a queen. Right, that's it. That's your lot. Thank you to everyone who took part. A really feisty, fiery show this morning. We'll try and have more of the same. I'm off. That's it. Back tomorrow at 6. Until then, from me, ta-ta.
Local and vocal across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you, Iain.